Yolanda Garcia Gutierrez is going to be our MC for the day. She's right here. If you know her, I don't know how many of you know her. She has been dancing for 85 years. I'm just kidding.
I have a good doctor. What did I tell you?
and she still does. Okay? But today she doesn't have to dance. That's a good part. Turning over to her, and we will start the program very fast. And I will help her out, and I am doing everything a little bit, so I will also be here.
Thank you.
Yolanda.
Thank you. If we will all stand now. Before we do anything, if you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. And let's hear it very loud. We need it now, more than ever. Ready? And I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, justice for all. Thank you. I hope you all had a nice convention period, which was the Democratic or Republican. We didn't have any others, so it's okay. I hope you enjoyed it. The first thing that I am going to do is I'm going to introduce a man that has started all of this. I don't know how I ever got involved. I love him to death because he's fearless. And there's many people that do not know him well. I know him almost a little bit better than he thinks I know him. He's very, very tenacious. He's like a dog with a bone. And I really appreciate that. Vish, would you please come and do the welcome? This is Vish. We don't say the rest of the name because you can't pronounce it. Okay? So just Vish. And we call him the Commandant.
Thank you, Yolanda. Actually, Luis Cisneros was supposed to be standing right here. And I am representing him. He had an issue, and he won't be able to make it right now. So he was supposed to give the speech, welcome speech. Mayor knows me very well. I don't even come prepared. I don't have anything written in my hand. I can just keep talking. And he says, shut up, and then I stop. That's the way it works. Okay, this is going to be a very simple function. We have a lot of people. I want to welcome all of you here. First of all, we will go over our Laredo a little later. Right now, I want to welcome you here. I'm glad that all of you are here. This is the very, very, very first time our Laredo has had a public meeting. Okay? We always meet behind closed doors in Yolanda's dancing school, where nobody sees us. And then we go to the city hall and talk, and then we go back to the dancing studio. But today is the first time. Some people have even wondered, do we even have real names? In fact, one person asked me, are you really for this our Laredo? Is it for real? Or is it like a fake anonymous name? No, we are not anonymous. We don't have a problem in saying who we are. It's just that we never had a public function. So this is the very first time we actually have a public function where we invited the public to come over. We will go over our Laredo a little later, but I want to welcome all of you, and we are going to give everybody who wants to speak a chance to speak. And you can talk on any issue that you want to talk about. We already have 23, 24 people talking. We are going to limit you for 3 minutes. That's not like the mayor says 3 minutes. You can speak a little longer if you want, but we don't want anybody to be speaking 3 hours either. So be considerate. A couple of minutes back and forth is fine. It's not a question answer. You can talk about any topic that you want to talk about. We know there's several issues that we want to look into in the future. So you think that this issue is important to you, so you can talk. The people who want to go first, some of them wanted to leave, so we are going to let them talk first. Then we'll have a short break. Then we'll have groups of 7, 7, 7. So if you want to go in the first group, tell Yolanda, I want to be in the first group. If you want to be in the second group, tell Yolanda, I will be in the second group. If you didn't say anything, we'll call you in the third group for sure. That's about it. Then we have a presentation, which we'll do also. And we also have an open discussion where we'll be able to talk. There is some finger foods and soft drinks. Help yourself when the time comes. It's our function, so don't keep aloof. If you want to say something at any time, say it. And one thing I wanted to clarify is people who are going to come here and talk, they are talking on their own behalf. It's neither endorsed by our Laredo, or it's not our official position. If somebody wants to talk about it, that's fine. We are welcome to listen to it. Maybe that will become one of our positions, but that's different. But they are talking for themselves. Okay, so we are not It's their own words that they're saying. Having said that, I am going to give it back to Yolanda. We have maybe the first group of speakers. Again, we are not going to time you, but Mr. Ceballos, 3 minutes is not a finite 3 minutes. Nobody's checking, okay? But it's a honor roll system. Thank you.
Thank you. Before we start, I would like to say how honored we are to have our mayor here. Thank you, Mayor, for coming. But you're here as a citizen, and that to me is very important. It shows that unity with every group in Laredo, with every group. Okay, the first speaker we have is Miss Dr. Dolores Medrano. She is UISD representative. Hopefully, the school board will be representing the District 7. She'll be running for District 7. And of course, we welcome you.
Thank you. I'm not a politician, I'm an educator. I've been an educator for 40 years. I've been a teacher, I've been a principal. I've been a consultant for Intercultural Development Research Association, where I used to work with 3-state area, training teachers, developing curriculum. I also worked for Region 18 Education Service Center in Midland, where I worked with 27 school districts, helping them implement state guidelines, helping them develop their programs. I have worked at Houston Baptist University, the same thing. As an adjunct faculty member, I've worked at Texas A&M University, and I've worked at University of Texas Permian Basin. Basically, I've had a very extensive background in education. I came to Laredo in 1992 as Assistant Superintendent for Curriculum Instruction, and I worked there for 13 years. In 2005, I retired, and I opened South Texas Tutoring Center, which I've been doing for 11 years already, and I love it because it's brought me closer to the parents and the children. And in this role, I realized that the community, the parents and the children need a voice on the board. They need someone that has an educational background. If I'm elected, I would be the only educator on the UISD board. One of the things that I hope to achieve is to increase academic performance of students. We need to look very closely at why in the past years we've had 6 schools that did not meet standard. Hopefully this year the scores have improved and children are doing better. We need to make our students competitive so that when they go to university, they can get in and they can enter programs like law school or medical school, whatever they want to do. I think every child should have an opportunity, not just the high achieving, but even children that have special needs. We should be able to serve all our children. I'm concerned that many of our teachers are having to buy supplies out of their own pocket. I'm hearing that teachers are even having to buy cleaning supplies to clean their classrooms. I think that this is shameful. We need to be able to provide better for our teachers. We should use our resources better so that they don't have to suffer, because these are our frontline people. They're the ones that actually do the work that we want them to do. So they need to be supported. And third, I'm very conservative fiscally. I'm a fiscally responsible person. And I think that our school district right now is in serious trouble. Yes, we had an oil and gas crash, but we've had them before. This is not the first time that we've experienced this. We shouldn't be $30 million in the hole, and everybody, right now I've had children come to my house already, the cheerleaders, I don't know if they've been to your house, the cheerleaders, the band students already selling things so that they can be able to go on trips or whatever. The situation is very bad, and I think we need someone on the board that has a conservative outlook. I'm a taxpayer, but I'm an educator, so I know what it takes to provide to our students and at the same time be fiscally responsible. I'm going to have to run today because I'm having my first fundraiser. I'm not a politician, so I'm kind of nervous about it. It's going to be a bowl-a-thon at Jet Bowl. Y'all are invited. It starts at noon tomorrow. I'm going to give my little flyer out. And so if you have any questions, my phone number's there. Please call me. I'd be happy to answer them anytime. Not today, because I know you all have a million speakers, and I wish I could stay. It looks very interesting. But I have to run, and I thank you so much for the opportunity to speak today. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And continue, right? We're going fast. Okay. Mr. Howard, Ivy or Evie? Ivy, wonderful. And this is about the secondary water supply, which should be extremely, extremely important to us. Thank you.
Hi, thank you for inviting me to speak here today. Normally I have other engineers or finance people or whoever that represent whatever particular thing that we're talking about are trying to get across. I'm not usually the one that does this, but I am one of the landowners of a group of landowners, and I was able to convince the other landowners that since we don't use our industrial water like we used to, we're a group of landowners. One of them is out of the Crystal City area. They own all the property where the Del Monte spinach plant used to grow their vegetables, also the La Mantilla and the Agri-Tree. In the Dimmitt County area, it's the Ivy and Bowman land. This is about 43,000 acres. There's about 20,000 acres, a little less than 20,000 acres that's irrigated farmland. Most of this water is pre-1965 water, which means it has a special vested interest, which means it's our wells, you can turn them on anytime you want. You don't have to meter them. You don't have to call the state when you turn them on. You don't have to call the state when you turn them off. What we decided to do was we got together and we said, okay, well, how do we do a project that you can't stop? It was the first thing. Why get involved and why get started? So I studied the Texas Water Code. I studied the administration code to the Constitution and the Constitution. And a light went off over my head. And I said, oh, you have to be the government. You have to be the government. So when we first started out, we got together with the city of Ensenada. Then we went to the to Perry's office, to the governor's office, policy and planning. They sent us over to Texas Water Development Board. And at the Texas Water Development Board, we pretty much went through the same rigmarole. I had British Petroleum Plastics, I had the pipe technology people, had finance people, and I had government people. I had one of the commissioners from Dimmitt County and the mayor of Ensenada. And basically, both offices asked me the same thing. They go, well, you're not asking for money, you're going to put private funding. And you've got the government that you're going to do it through that way. You have the water, because they had already done a 5-year study on the aquifers in Texas, and they knew we had the water better than I did. And so they said, well, what do you... Normally, they're used to people coming going, well, our tower's got rust in it and our meters don't work and we can't, and we need help and we need money. But we weren't asking for that. They said, what do you want from us? And basically what we told them is that we don't have a budget from a tax base or there's no money to do this over and over again. So we want to know is, do y'all have a problem with this? If y'all have a problem with this, I'm not even going to start. So that's basically what I want to know. And the director of the Texas Water Development Board stood up from where he was sitting across catty corner from where I was, stuck his hand out and says, Howard, go home and work on your water project. And so that's what I've been doing ever since. We started out by doing some presentations here in Laredo, then we did some in Eagle Pass, and basically we were going to offer access through a contract with a government entity to have access to our water, to take water for public use, okay? And we're willing to lock our prices for 20 years. There's no price increases for 20 years. There's no investor that came in and invested and bought the water from us to resell it. These landowners, it wasn't their ideal, it was me, because I'm interested in a pipe technology that goes along, and they need a lot of water to do a big project for a pipe tech. And that's how I got started. So we kind of accidentally ran into all the verification, and had it not been for the RFP from Laredo hired the oldest hydrology firm in the state of Texas. We hired the second oldest hydrology firm in the state of Texas, who also did the state model for the hydrology model for the state of Texas, okay? So the water is there. The finance people have come here to Laredo and told you that they will finance this project. The thing is, when you do an RFP, that's not really how we wanted to propose this. But when they call and say they're doing an RFP, other people are going to offer the water, and if you don't go and offer, well, if there's no need for the water within your project, you're not going to have a project. So as we work through this, a few things happened that were disagreeable to the landowners with the city of Ensenada. Somehow they started to go and get their own finance people, other engineers, and I caught wind of it. They went and I called them. I go, "What are you doing?" And well, you know, we're deciding and making the decisions and this and that. I go, "Well, what water are you going to use?" "Oh, well, we wanted to talk to you about that." And so in the end, they go around. They call the Bowmans. The Bowmans call me. I go, "Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. You know, what do you want me to do about it?" And they said, "Howard, you're the one that's gone out there. You're the one that's had the visits with the governor and done all this stuff. You do what you think you need to do. This is your ideal, you know." Okay, so they were out. Okay, as soon as they did, Laredo put out an RFP. Little did I know that Laredo Bolina, he was out. Okay, they put Laredo Bolina out. All right, and if they put out an RFP right away, well, I don't have a government. Because remember, I got to be the government. So what we decided to do, and this is basically what I want to tell you, and I want to let you know that I'm available to do a larger presentation and take questions. But I wanted to tell you what the style of our deal is, and that's basically what I want to make clear today. There is the water, there is the money, there is the law to do all this, but we have to let the professionals do their work. So this is basically how it works. Now that we don't have another government, as I studied the water code, in chapter 67 of the water code, it has to do with nonprofit private water utilities. So you have a table. This table is a nonprofit private water utility. It has no customers, no consumers of water, okay? And what this table was created for was for the landowners to come up to the table and make an agreement with the utility to say, all right, you have authorization from us to grant access to the government to take water for public use, okay? We'll lock our prices for 20 years, no hunting and fishing. There's all the regular things that they want. We got to fence in the facilities, and they got to stay on the roads where the facilities are and not drive around on the rest of the properties and so forth, things like that. And if the landowners are happy, they sign. It's still a private water utility. Here comes the government water utility. They sign with Dimmitt Utility. Okay, when they do that, Dimmitt Utility turns from a table into a door, okay, a governmental door. Okay, now it can do intergovernmental agreements. So in chapter 67 of the water code, a nonprofit private water utility can do an intergovernmental agreement. So as soon as the government signs, you have a door that gives you access. Now both sides have a problem that they don't want. Both sides got one big problem and they don't want it. Let's say we start going through and getting the process of the right-of-way. Takes landman, takes title companies and lawyers and lawyers and lawyers. Okay, you're digging along and you're doing fine, you're getting your permits and you have certain problems. You spent $13 million already. All right, 2 minutes?
No, 2 seconds.
2 seconds. Okay, you spent $13 million already. So the problem is nobody wants that door to fall on them. The responsibility of the risk cost. Okay, a third party comes in. They're the finance, and they say, if you allow us to do a private finance, and we'll go in and do the private finance, and it'll be a tax-free revenue bond, we will take the risk. So that's basically it. We have three groups that work with Dimmitt Utility: the finance, the landowners, and the utilities that want to consume the water. And we've got lock prices, we've got recharge fund that's included in it. Not only that, if you take 40 MGD, you gain another 20 MGD of water out of the river. And so I have a big plan. If I can engage the city into discussions again, I can explain it to them to where they can utilize the assets that they've acquired along with our assets to back it up, and we can do a real good project, because Laredo's at the high end of Region M, and this is where the water hub can be. And y'all have already done part of the work that was recommended by your experts, saying that you could dual track this project. Thank you very much.
No, thank you. Thank you. I'm so sorry. I wish, but you have to let us know when you have your presentation, because you are going to have a presentation at a longer.
So I'm happy to do a presentation at anyone's request.
Okay.
I'd love to do it with the city.
Great, great.
And
That's very, very, very important for our city. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Our next speaker is, I'm sure you all know, Mr. Benavides, C.Y. Benavides. He's been in the papers a lot. Thank you. And he will be talking about the state of affairs on trash collection and disperse. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. And I don't want to take a lot of your time. The main focus I wanted to be here is to see what y'all were talking about. Something I think that's very important to Laredo that's happening here in the near future is we're having a public meeting. And so I'm here to invite you all to that event. It's on August the 11th at 7 p.m. at Casablanca Ballroom, where we were going to have an expert panel from the state and a panel of our own, including a lot of ancillary stuff to show you all our project and what we're trying to do. But if I could ask a few questions of you all, and if you all could be honest for a little bit, you know, because don't worry, you're not going to hurt my feelings. I'm a big boy. Okay, but so you have heard about the landfill. Has everybody heard about the landfill I'm trying to build? Anybody that hasn't heard about it? Nobody. Okay, perfect. So you know that I'm trying to build a project. You may or may not know exactly what I'm trying to build, but you know it's a landfill, correct? Everybody's agreeable. You know that there's a petition out there being circulated to defeat this project, right? Okay. How many of you all have signed that petition? 4 or 5 people? 6 people? Okay.
I don't like it.
Okay, no, it's fine, and that's, I respect that. At the end of the day, you know that these are things that we need. Okay, is anybody aware that the city of Laredo has just expanded their personal permit for their landfill of late in the last year? Are you all aware that they're expanding their current landfill? Our landfill is being expanded. Anybody know that?
Even if it's expanded, they don't take industrial waste, and that's what you're bringing to yours.
Well, okay, well that's not true. They actually take industrial 2, 3, and 4. So that's just bear with me a little bit, okay? And so that you can see where I'm coming from. So the current landfill, which really should be shut down for many reasons, just recently expanded. Did anybody here oppose that expansion? Did anybody know about the expansion? Okay, so our current landfill should have been shut down here in the next year or so. But because of multiple issues, primarily that the city would have to come up with $30 million to close that landfill, they looked to go and expand that landfill. How many of you all know that the current landfill just had a series of wells that were drilled on the north side of it? Does anybody know that? Okay, would it surprise you if I told you that over 6 wells were drilled in the last year to vent methane into the atmosphere that blows across the city of Laredo? Does anybody know that?
Did they not drill those wells to capture that methane where they can make that?
No, sir. They're currently active open wells that are being plumed out into the atmosphere and across our city of Laredo. Did anybody know that? See, I think that we're not getting the whole picture. The reality is, if you talk to any of the people at the city of Laredo, I'm talking about the people that work for a living, not the city council or anybody, they would tell you that change has to be made, that should not continue today the way it's going. Now, we're proposing a project that I think you all should come and visit, see what we are proposing, and then make a better, more informed decision. I will tell you, unfortunately, for whatever reason, Laredo's been in a combative situation on this particular project. It primarily stems from a family feud, and it really is not the right thing for this community. This community has a golden opportunity on a project that we've built, and I'm telling you guys that the guys, whoever's in call and working behind that group, they have hired professional people to tell you what they opine on how we're building this project, right? And I have hired the same kind of professional people that opine on what I'm trying to do, right? And both those opinions have been heard at every level, from Laredo to Washington, D.C. about 4 months ago, I received a preliminary permit to build this project. Not based on anything else other than the work that was done properly, and that the opinion of the group that we represent actually had the science on what we're trying to do, and that's how we achieved the point that we are today. You will see testimony on the 11th from people outside of our group that will also indicate and show to you what I'm talking about and be helpful in the process to continue the process. Because at the end of the day, if you brought me the petition today to sign, I would sign it myself, because I don't want a hazardous facility. I don't want a toxic facility. But guess what? In the landfill business, whether you're talking Ponderosa, the City of Laredo's facility, or mine, there always will be a toxic element tied to trash. If you were at your house and you collect your trash, just your trash, and put it in your room for 4 weeks, you will have a toxic environment. That's what this project talks about. Don't get me wrong. It's a little bit bigger project than the average project, but it's where it's going globally. And I've always prided my family in being on the cutting edge of our future. And I've supported projects that are helpful to our community, like our plastic ban reduction, which we were successful to do it over a year ago. Since then, the country of France did it like 2 months ago, and this week, Great Britain did it. So we're doing things that are cutting edge, and you should definitely commend the mayor and all his staff and the work they've done on that part of it. But I would just like for you all to keep an open mind and continue the investigative process of what we're trying to accomplish. Thank you all.
Those 6 wells.
Oh, okay, he's ready. Well, the next one we have is it 3 minutes? I'm kidding you. All right. Yair Blanco, and he's a representative of Nelly Vilma, who is going to be running for city council, correct? And what does, 5, is it 5? District 5, thank you.
Okay, thank you. A nombre de la candidata Nelly Vielma, quiero pedirles una disculpa por no poder estar presente en este importante evento. In the name of the candidate Nelly Vielma, I want to ask an apology for not being present at this important event. Also, at the same time, I want to take the opportunity and on behalf of the candidate Nelly Vielma, invite them to be part of this movement. For sure, it's time for a change, and I think together we can. Together we have the power to decide the fate of our district and our city. Together, nothing is impossible. I invite you to join this change, to join this movement. Please like us on Facebook at Vote for Nelly. I would like you to play some video. This is the attorney Nelly Vielma. And thank you very much.
Is the video more than 3 minutes?
The volume is all the way up.
While you fix that, could I have?
No, this is their presentation. Yes, it's not.
Thank you very
Okay,
much.
we have, no problem. Our next speaker is, okay, hold on. I know I'm small, but not that small. I really admire this lady in all my life. I really love you. Eva Delgado. And you're with Vida, right?
Sí.
And she's with the organization of Vida. And I'm very, very proud of her. Okay, please, come over here. You have
Aquí
more than
mero.
3 minutes if you want. No. you don't.
No, los aburro. Vamos a platicar un cuentito, vamos a contar algo diferente. Pero para muchos de ustedes, yo soy una persona conocida. Y no voy a apuntar y no voy a decir porque es mala educación. Pero vida, como dice sus iniciales, Voices in Democratic Action. Es una organización que empezó en 1967. Como todas las cosas que se inician, hay problemas, no tenemos miembros, no hay quien nos haga caso, tocamos puertas, no nos abren, a veces hay oídos sordos, intereses personales. Estamos en una ensalada, como dice, hay de todo, bueno, malo, mejor, peor, de todo. Pero esta organización me lo dieron así y no quiero comerme palabras ni nada. Ha sido triunfante en varios discursos de opiniones contra la ciudad y el condado en diferentes causas. Siempre hay una persona vigilando. Siempre alguien sabe y viene y te dice, ¿ya oíste qué está pasando allá? ¿Aquel quiere tomar ventaja? ¿En qué clase estamos de ciudad? Que unos estiran para su conveniencia y otros aflojan. ¿Y qué está pasando aquí? Somos personas educadas, me pienso yo, no con títulos. Yo no tengo ningún título, no soy abogada, ingeniera ni nada. Simplemente una persona que sabe distinguir el bien del mal. Con eso estamos arreglados. No tengo compromiso con mi compadre ni con mi amigo, más que el bien de la comunidad. Tenemos que servir y dejar buenas raíces. La crítica siempre ha existido. Ignorémoslas, porque la gente tiene envidia, tiene coraje, esto, lo otro. Bueno, pues éntrale al toro, como dicen. Éntrale al toro y toréatelo. Pero ya les dije, vida ha estado activa. Desgraciadamente hemos tenido unos tropiezos, como cada quien en la vida. Hay etapas donde vas hacia abajo y luego vas hacia arriba. De la ciudad depende que esta organización siga vida, como dice, viva. No podemos dejar caer a nadie. Tenemos que escuchar. Podemos encontrar una solución. ¿Qué está pasando? ¿Qué está pasando? ¿Somos egoístas? En un tiempo Vida tenía más de 100 miembros activos. Y todo esto fue por el esfuerzo del señor Héctor Farías. Desafortunadamente, ya les dije, nos pasan cosas en la vida que no están planeadas. Nadie quiere un fracaso, nadie quiere una enfermedad, pero nos dejan buenos recuerdos las personas. Al momento Vida está organizándose de nuevo, después de estar en silencio por más de 3 años. Es bastante tiempo. Hubo una demanda contra Vida y afortunadamente la ganamos. La ganamos. No fue fácil. Como les digo, todos hay días buenos, malos, para arriba, para abajo, pero ¿qué es? Creer en algo, tener fe en algo y hacer algo por nuestra ciudad. Porque no nomás el que tiene poder, síguele para arriba. ¿Y el pobre acá qué? ¿No está considerado? Entonces, tengo unas copias de los bylaws. Si ustedes quieren, se las reparto. Tenemos un plan de becas. También queremos que la juventud se eduque, que aprenda lo bueno, porque nomás hay dos caminos. ¿Por cuál te quieres ir, el bueno o el malo? Ustedes escojan. Y muchas gracias. Y aquí estoy para que si alguno de ustedes me quiere ocupar en algo, estoy a sus órdenes. Todavía trabajo, ¿eh? Y se vale decir, voy a completar 79 años. ¿Cuántos tengo en Laredo trabajando? Desde que estaba Tatangelo. Entonces, Saúl Ramírez, Tatangelo, Raúl Salinas, ¿cuántos mayores han pasado? Y a usted, esa sonrisa, manténgala siempre, porque nos da una energía. Como tráguese las buenas y las malas. Y adelante, mi mayor. Muchas gracias a todos ustedes.
Very good. Always wonderful to hear somebody like that, so candid. No le tiene miedo a nada. Our next speaker is Maria Antonieta Garza, and she will be speaking on the March Against Extinction. There's no march against extinction of bad husbands? No.
No, you can send them marching
Okay,
anytime.
thank you.
Hi, my name is Antonieta Garcia, Tony. I'm a fifth grade teacher, and proudly to say I've been a teacher for very long. Actually, I'm planning on already finishing my education years probably next year. Well, I am the proud sponsor of the 4th and 5th grade Finley Elementary Ecology Club. And as part of this club, the students study and learn about the importance of our ecosystems. And now that we were talking about water and trash, the children, the community, well, my focus is wildlife, okay? Not only wildlife, but pets are also included in there, okay? And the students are involved in helping the moon bears in China, elephants and rhinos in Thailand, Malaysia, India, Africa, Asia. And we support organizations such as Wildlife SOS, Animals Asia. We also collaborate with local organizations such as Pet Haven of Laredo. The students are actively involved helping rescue and find adoptions for animals that are rescued. The club also helps the Wildlife Rescue and Rehabilitation Organization in Candalia, Texas. We send the animals Valentine gifts this year. I also try to get the kids involved in activities like Tapitas por una Sonrisa, where we were collecting the bottle caps, sending them to Monterrey, Mexico to help children with cancer. Okay, and we as well work with another organization called Tierra VIP, where we collaborate to help Bethany House. We take the kids to Regent Care Home for the Elderly to give them a fun afternoon with prizes and communication, having a good afternoon. And we also help the less fortunate community members with cancers, such as the student Brenda, who had cancer. She was a middle school student. We were part of the team helping her out. Okay, at this moment, the club is sponsoring our 3rd annual Finley Elementary Global March for Elephants and Rhinos. And you might think, why is she talking about elephants and rhinos? Well, because they are part of our planet, and it is also our responsibility to ensure that these animals do not disappear from the face of the earth. They are being killed at outrageous numbers daily, and it'll be a shame if some of these young people's children or grandchildren do not get to ever see a live elephant or rhino ever, okay, except in books or maybe the internet. It's a march to raise our voices against their extinction, and now other types of wildlife are included. And I'm here to cordially invite everyone to attend to the march. I set up a booth that gives you some basic information about my club. Okay, and right now I would like to see if Mr. Vish can possibly set up the video. To end my presentation, I would like for everyone to view the video of last year's March. I turned in the CD, please. And the reason why I want everyone to see it, it's because I want everyone to get involved, create a group, raise your voices, make some noise, be there. And I'm proud to say that UISD, who did the communication department did the video, they entered it into an international competition, and we won the Communicators Award under the title of education. So thank you very much. I will be passing some flyers inviting you to the march. It's open to the whole community. And thank you very much for listening. You're welcome to see the booth.
Global March for Elephants and Rhinos, and the purpose of that event is to raise our voices against their extinction. It is important to educate our students because eventually they are the future, and they are the ones that will be in charge, making sure that those animals are protected.
Now, where was I? I was doing the sandia over there. Wait.
7 Flores?
7 Flores, got it. And he is
Student of TAMU.
is from Tammy U? Yes. Come on in, come on.
But I'm not going to address him.
No, of course not. No.
Oh, yes, my name is 7 Flores, just like the number, right, Bish?
Yes, sir. Number
Yes.
7.
Yes, and today I want to talk about the illusion of choice in politics, why a two or single-party system is detrimental to democracy, and I will do my best to unite these two controversial topics to bring us all together for a greater cause. So I usually talk about environmental justice or education, but today in a moment in which, as we can see, both locally or nationwide, there is much arguments of where we should go as a city or as a country, right? So today I actually want to present a more of a philosophical argument regarding all of these issues. When you hear someone talk about the illusion of choice, you might be thinking about our two-party system in our country, or the one dominant party in some cities like ours, and how they are ultimately controlled by the interests of certain groups that diminish the voice of voters. However, I actually want to go much deeper than that, by either reminding you or making you realize that you and I did not choose the time and place of our birth. Likewise, we did not choose the ideas and beliefs that were around or were simply available throughout the world for us to analyze. whatever we end up believing in politics or anywhere else is not exactly because we chose or formed those ideas on our own. What we choose is nothing more than a combination of the ideas that are available in our lifetimes. Furthermore, although some of us might like to think that some political groups or politicians have ideas that are objectively better or objectively more good than others, I would like for us to remind us that there is no such thing as the way government should be. There is no such thing as the true form of government or the way government is meant to be. Whatever we propose and we want, as sad as it might be to say, is nothing more than a different way of doing things or an option or an opinion per se. Think about that for a second. Doesn't that bother you when you feel that impotence? When you think about these things, we're always fighting other groups here in our city or nationwide with general elections. But when we think about how, in the end, it's not really my or your fault of why you believe in something, why you want our country to go in a direction, it is more about, as they say, where we come from, right? So next time we try to attack someone or we call him a fool for believing in a certain candidate or idea, don't just ask about what does he believe in. Ask about why does that person believe in that. One last thing, as I was mentioning today, to go more down to earth, as they say, what are these options, ideas that we have? Well, today it could be two parties, right? Republicans and Democrats. In our city, for the most part, just Democrats, right? And if you think about it, we never got these groups to be here, right? We never chose this to be here. They were just there when we were born, right? And we had to pick one of them. So what could we do about this? When this happens, when only some ideas are present, they go unchallenged. But when we have more competition, more third parties, etc., more groups, people are more able to actually make a choice and not exactly just grab whatever idea was present in their lifetimes. I would like for all of us to just think, I know it's a little extreme in some ways, but just think about those things for a second whenever you are discussing ideas with somebody else. Okay, thank you.
This has to be one of my favorite people, too. He's on the board of our Laredo, and he's very, very, very dedicated. He and his wife, Diana, right over there. So make it 3 minutes, David, because then I'm really going to get it.
Yeah, it'll be short. I want to thank y'all, each of y'all, for coming out today and supporting our Laredo, and it's our 1-year anniversary as far as getting together. Who would have thought that flies would have got this group together and the investigation to first recycling and what's gone on. I am very proud to be a part of this. One thing that it's non-political to me, and I'm a very political person, it's about doing the right thing time and time again. Whether we agree with it or not, it's the right thing, period. And that's that. How are our tax dollars being spent? Cronyism is wrong. That's pretty much it. I mean, there's not much to it. It's doing the right thing over and over again, and that might be a little bit of insanity because we hit a lot of brick walls. But we're going to keep being vigilant, and we will continue to try and fight for those, even if they're ignorant to the fact. That's it. There's no hidden agenda for us. There's no political agenda. We're not a bunch of Republicans or Libertarian. No, we're non-political, trying to do the right thing. That's why every one of y'all that chose to speak here today has that right. Whether it's about Mr. Benavidez's proposed dump, which we do need, I agree politically that we do need something else, or if it's about what the gentleman just spoke of, about choosing your political affiliation, or about Ms. Nelly Vilma going for District 5. Everyone should have a voice, and that's why I also agree with Vida, voices in democratic action. Be part of that democratic process. Do your part. Stand up. If you don't like something, you have to fight. You have to get together. You have to find a group of people that think similar to you and do something about it. Sitting on the couch, complaining about it, being a keyboard warrior on the internet isn't going to change anything. Nothing. Actually showing up and doing something makes change. With that, I'll leave y'all. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, thank y'all for showing up. Please enjoy some of the food and our next speakers.
We have a young man, and he's from LCC. And what I am going to ask, if you wish to stand up and go get a little something for in 2 minutes. I give you 2 minutes, 3 minutes, and then we continue. Is that all right? Is that good for you guys? Because I hate for you to be sitting there. It's getting a little bit longer. If anybody wishes, there's a lot of food and there's cake also. And your name is Alan from LCC board?
I'm running for LCC.
Oh, wow. 3 minutes, right?
Yes.
Okay. The next speaker will be Justin Allen, and he is running for LCC board.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I want to thank our Laredo for having you all here tonight, and every one of you for actually being here and being involved in your government. It is very important. All right, I'll get closer. I'm running for the LCC board, place 3. It is an at-large election. That means everybody can vote if you are registered in Laredo. I'm running in place 3. That's where the incumbent has been there for a very long time, and I believe it's time for a change. Usually when someone is there for over 20 years, such as the incumbent, this is when the stalling of new ideas and vision occur. That's why I'm running for change. It's time for a new vision, a new direction for the next generation, and I am part of that. I'm running for the students, for the taxpayers, and for the employees. The students, I know their struggles. Someone who grew up graduating high school 10 years ago, believe it or not, I struggled. To this day, I still owe thousands in school loans. So I understand your struggles, guys. That's why I'm running for you. I'm also running for the taxpayers. My family and I, growing up, struggled to make ends meet. Every dollar is very important for a lot of our families. So I'm running for them as well. For our employees, it is very important. As a school employee myself, I know how it is to feel unheard sometimes. And I'll be there for them as well, for the employees, from our instructors all the way to our custodians. I will be there for you. Ya es tiempo de seguir adelante. This is our campaign, and I hope I have your support. Thank you.
Justin here has written a book. Can you briefly say what that's all about?
Yes, I actually have a copy here with me. I wrote a book. It's not really popular out there. It's an independent book. But those that do know have read it, and I've gotten good feedback from it. The book is written about the politics of Laredo. It's called The Streets of Laredo Politics. It goes back all the way to the Patron system, as some of you might be aware of. This is partly why I'm running too, because the incumbent is part of that. If you read the book and you read the history of Laredo, the book mentions politics of how it's come to be, how it's always been, and how we can change it. We have a lot of good leaders out there, but we need to do better, and we all need to get together. And I do have 2 copies here of my book. I don't have that many, as I said, it's an independent book, but it is for sale online. You can go to Amazon, and you can find it there. The Streets of Laredo Politics. Yes. Yes. The incumbent is Mercurio Martinez. But I'm the only one that has signed up so far, so we'll see.
That's the old one.
Yes, that's correct. Judge Martinez. Sorry, let me correct that. Let me correct that. Yes, Judge Martinez. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, Judge Martinez.
Yes.
Okay.
No. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Congratulations. I'm going to take the liberty right now to invite Mr. Ceballos up to the podium, because he always inspires that love of the neighborhood, love of people, and he inspired me a lot. So I would like for him to talk to you a teeny weeny bit about what's happening in the housing now? What's going on? Keep us abreast of everything.
Well, I wasn't planning to speak, but since I was called up, I really want to talk, since you offered the mic. We're at a point in time in our community where we really need to start treating our leadership, our elected leaders, like our representatives, instead of treating them like they're in a pedestal. And really, from here forward, if you walk out of this room, you really need to think about that. In the past, somebody mentioned patron system. Seven mentioned this philosophy of not selecting what you or thinking through what you think is true and what may not be true. But if you really do the analysis and start treating your leadership like people like you are, we all are, I think we're going to start making a difference. If we keep thinking that they're beyond reproach, we will continue to have a system like what we have. So I think it's incumbent on all of us to begin that expectation and to tell our friends some of us have friends that are leaders. And in fact, probably each and every one of us here has friends that are serving in public office, is to tell them about that expectation. I know there's a lot of people in this room who have been in activist groups or in watchdog groups. You've got to be able to communicate that way and create that expectation. The issues between the city and the county don't seem to disappear. I think it's important that this particular November election and the next few coming up for the county, that you really analyze who you vote for and who you elect. Because if you do not, we're going to sit stagnating. We're no longer 150,000 people in Laredo. We're 260 plus. And in the next 10, 15 years, we're going to be 300 plus. And if we can't get along because there's a faction in control, we're going to keep suffering those consequences. The other thing, just very quickly, our urban neighborhoods are in distress. If we don't start doing something about them, we're going to have some serious urban blight. The Russell Terrace situation was something that was going to happen, where a development was programmed to be demolished, 200 units, 20 acres, right in the middle of Central Laredo, with no real plan for it being revitalized. But you don't have to use Russell Terrace as the example. You can look at any of, right here, West Laredo. You can go to other neighborhoods, near Arkansas, you name it. Our Central Laredo, the Mercy Hospital situation, all of these things are going to impact our future. And downtown. So all of these things, if I can influence any of you as to start thinking about your urban Laredo. Yes, we need the north to grow, we need the loop to develop, but our Central Laredo and our old neighborhoods need some care, need some attention. So when we elect people, we'll have an opportunity in November to make some change and build collaboration. If we continue with the same folks deciding with not even understanding possibly what they're voting on, we're going to get a system that's not going to look at progress. It's going to look at stagnating our future. So that's the only thing that I can offer. I appreciate you asking me to speak. I wasn't planning on it, but I'm always happy to do that. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I think he's the only one that kept the 3 minutes. My next speaker is Jesus Quiroz from... I wrote it down, I know, but I don't know where I wrote it down. That's okay, right?
Thank you so much.
Come on.
Thank you. Well, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you. Thank you to our Laredo for having me here, for giving me this opportunity. I hope I don't step on anything over here.
You can go that side a little bit.
There we go. Yeah, it's fine. I'll just stand like this. And happy birthday on the first anniversary of our Laredo. That's a good accomplishment. I mean, it seems like you've all been around for much longer, but congratulations and
Mayor couldn't get rid of us.
No. I wish you and other organizations like you, like VITA and other activists throughout the city, to stay active, continued success and everything. And did I say my name is Jesus Quiroz, lifelong Laredoan, lifelong cynic. blogger. I live in the Chacon, so I really am interested in anything that pertains to District 3. My representative is Alex Perez. For the county, I think it's divided between Frank Sharafa and Jaime Canales. So I do have some sort of communication with them whenever I have a chance. But I wanted to start with a quote that I found the other day from Barack Obama, our president. He said, "The role of citizen in our democracy doesn't end with your vote." And I couldn't agree with that anymore, because I think voting is important. I think every 4 years or every, when the midterms come along, everybody stresses the importance of voting. But after that, I think that people need to stay engaged the way that you do, that way that the St. Peter's organization stays engaged with the public, the way that VITA does. Voting is important because we want to have the right people in office. We want the right people to be in charge of our public monies, of our decisions and everything. But if we don't get out there to question our leaders, then problems arise and everything. And so, yeah, voting is easy, but what you guys do is hard. Standing up before city council is hard. Speaking before people is hard. And just questioning what you don't think is right is hard, I think. And so, really, I applaud you for that. Fernando Piñon, everybody know Fernando Piñon. He's a former Laredoan. He's a writer, professor. He wrote a book. I'm almost finished with his last book he wrote. But he wrote a column in the Laredo Times a couple of weeks ago, and he was talking about the changes that are coming up at City Hall and all these charter changes, going to a hybrid system, the terms and all these things that are going to be up in the referendum in the November election. And he said, he was trying to reassure us. He was trying to say, I think Laredo will be okay. We can't have a repeat of the Patron system with the J.C. Martin administration from 4 decades ago, because Laredo and Webb County have evolved. Laredo politics are different and everything. And there might be some truth to that, but as long as we remain complacent, as long as we remain disengaged, I think there is potential for a pernicious system to be in place. Maybe not as lethal or, well, I don't know, that's too harsh a word, as the Patron system, but, there is potential for wrongdoing there. And so I really applaud, again, I congratulate you on your success. I hope you keep doing that, speaking for us and everything. And if there's anything that I can do, I hope that I can lend a hand, and because when I think we have a more informed public, I think we have a better community. And again, I want to thank, the work that Mr. Ceballos does and the community here in St. Peter's, VITA, and our Laredo, and I think that's it. So thank you so much for the opportunity. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, and I also would like to invite all of you, if you wish to become a member of our organization. I mean, we don't meet, we do. We meet every Sunday. That's a little hard on a lot of people, but maybe you could go every so often. It'd be great just to get involved, and if you do, come over and let me know, okay? We love new members. It's great. It's a good atmosphere. A lot of times we toss and turn and we do maromas and we get angry, but it's good. It's good. We are la roncha. We don't let go. Es una roncha que no se va a ir. Así que ahí estamos en el City Council, ya estamos. Es una ronchita, nomás para que se rasquen un poco. Okay, Annette Ugalde Banugli. And I'm so glad that you got here. We were afraid you were not going to come.
Yes, I'm sorry. I'm always fashionably late.
That's fine.
Sometimes. Hello, good evening, and thank you, our Laredo, Bish, Armando, Diana, James, everybody that has put this fabulous event together for us. I have to commend their efforts. I think it was over a year ago when we sat in my living room and we discussed some ideas and some future projects. Remember, Vish? And how I mentioned to you that I wanted to get involved. I wanted to get involved because I am so passionate about my community, and I am sick and tired of watching the news and seeing elected officials get arrested. And for me, it's like, what example are we setting to our children and to our community that these elected officials could get arrested and get away with it? That, to me, is a major concern, not only to me, but to you and the constituents of our city. So, once again, thank you all for supporting this fantastic, fabulous event. It's a Saturday. I know that we have our families to attend, but just the simple fact that we're here, that means we care. We all care. And I believe we all share that same vision. And for many of us that are speaking here today, we all, whether we have a cause, whether we're running for something, or we simply have a message to relay, it all boils down to the same vision. We share the same vision that we want to see our city thrive. We want to see the people thrive. We want to see businesses grow. We want to see our children become successful in our own beautiful city, not in San Antonio or Austin or the North. We need to retain our talent. And in order to do that, we need to make the future in Laredo good for them. And that is our responsibility. And it boils down to who we elect. If we elect bad apples, nos vamos a quedar estancados. Como dijeron, somebody once said, we're going to stay stuck. And we don't want that. This city has a lot of potential for us to be a fantastic city compared to San Antonio and Austin. It is no secret that some of our representatives have failed us. We have seen not one, but two, but probably several of our elected officials get themselves into trouble, and in trouble with the law. I look at my situation, for instance. You all are well aware that I am a victim of sitting City of Laredo Council Member Vida Rodriguez. It's been in the news. In light of the seriousness of the allegations against him and the harm that has not only come to me, but to you, to the citizens, to the constituents of our city, and not to mention our local system of justice and all the citizens that have been accused of juvenile offenses. It is common knowledge that one can only disclose confidential juvenile sealed records in a very limited situation. And to do that outside of those limitations, especially in a very public way, is not only an arrestable offense, but a crime of moral turpitude, given the nature of malice that was used in order to publicly shame, hurt, and humiliate me, my family, my business, and ultimately improve his chances of getting elected. It goes without saying that every government employee knows that they cannot use government-owned assets as their own for personal gain. Thus, Mr. Rodriguez's use of this confidential information not only is a misdemeanor, but possibly a felony, especially since Mr. Rodriguez would receive wages for his services as a city council member. Is this the type of leadership that we want? Is this the type of leadership and leaders that we want making major decisions for our cities and for you and me? Ask yourself that. Is this what we want? Is this the type of example that we want for our children? If an individual is willing to break the law as an adult that should know better, imagine what the person is capable of doing now, once in power. Clearly, this proved that Mr. Rodriguez lacks ethics, transparency, and integrity. And I think that is the vision that we all want for our city. We want leaders that have ethics, that are transparent, and that have integrity. Very simple. That is what we want, and that is the same vision that we share. And I think Joel Osteen once said, without a vision, there is no victory. So, the question now poses to you, Are we going to sit back and just let this happen? And watch our city government be made a mockery of? Or are we going to stand up against them and are we gonna do something? If I do not stand up for the adults who outgrew their youth and decided to become actual citizens, then who will? So, in closing, not only does this offense goes to the very heart of the democratic process, which is the election of representatives to serve the people, the citizens of this community. This offense in question involves a candidate for public office violating state law for their own personal gain. I hope that you agree, as I do, that their conduct is serious and should not be tolerated by the citizens of Laredo. With that said, we the people and the registered voters of District 2 lack confidence in Councilmember Vidal Rodriguez's ability to meaningfully execute his duties to his constituents and uphold his oath in office. We the people demand a recall. So with that being said, I have a petition ready to go around for anybody that is willing to volunteer and help me gather 190 signatures. I will be here and I'll be more than happy to sign out some petitions. If you live in District 2 and if you're a resident and you don't want to see these leaders in office, I would appreciate your support. And this is not about me, this is about the constituents, because we do not want people like that serving the people of Laredo. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Annette, thank you. And now we have, oh, this is my area, right? I love that. We just lost the priest at St. Peter's. It's Jorge Santana, and he was not hysterical, historical. Let's not get hysterical.
I'm also a member of the Webb County Historical Commission, and they do call us sometimes historical, but we're not. Hi, my name is Jorge Santana. I'm the acting, in a few more days, new president of the St. Peter's Historic Neighborhood Association. Here are neighbors. Almost holding part of it because it ends on Washington. We are one of the oldest neighborhoods in town. Our homes there range between 1870 to about the 50s, 40s, the Art Deco homes. It is very important that Laredo appreciates this neighborhood because it is part of our past. This neighborhood is started with the Industrial Revolution when the train arrived in Laredo. Totally European. You see Victorians homes, French, Germans. We even have a synagogue here a few blocks away. Our group does events throughout the year to promote the historic district, to promote our houses. We do several big events like the Portico Festival with the Volkswagens from the north of Mexico and the south of Texas. And we do home tours and haunted ghost tours too. We're a small group. We only have about 5 to 6 members, but unfortunately our area doesn't have a lot of residents. We are a very, very small amount of residents are active and with the community, with the organization. We would like that the new mall also includes us in its development, because you see big cities include their historic area as part of what the city has to provide to tourists. And here we've always have felt that it has been neglected, the historic part of Laredo. We do have San Agustin, which is a beautiful area, but we also have El Azteca, we also have St. Peter's. And if it was paid, more attention was paid to these neighborhoods, we could create an oasis for tourists to come. We have parrots every afternoon. We have the beautiful homes that some neighbors open up so you can see them inside. We have all the history. We had the Fort McIntosh. Actually, St. Peter's, a little area of it, had the black community there. The African Americans lived there, and even there was a brothel, little area also full of brothels. So we have a lot of interesting history in St. Peter's. And we would like to invite you to like our Facebook page. It says St. Peter's Historic Neighborhood Association. We will be doing events throughout the year. We have our neighborhood Pijamada next in October. a scary movie and then a haunted tour of all of our haunted houses with great stories. So thank you for having me. I don't have any political message or intense discussion or anything. I'm just good vibe, you know, and hopefully I don't get kicked out for that. But visit our neighborhood, okay? Because it's a great place to be at. I live in an 1890 home. It's full of ghosts, but I really enjoy it. So thank you for having me, okay?
You're probably ancient already. No, it's a beautiful area. We all know that area. It's gorgeous. We have a very, very well-known person that I would like to bring up, Trisha, so that you can introduce Mr. Livas too. Is that okay? And if you let me take care of the baby, I'll let you talk about 4 minutes more. No, good. Are you having a baby? Yeah. I'd never like to ask because you never know. It might be tortillas de harina. Trisha. Be careful, Trisha, please.
Good afternoon. Let me just get her.
Oh, bring her up.
Just so she doesn't freak out.
Okay, that's good. Leave it like that.
Thank you, Trisha.
Thank you. Hi, good afternoon, everybody. Trisha Cortez, and this is Marley. And I'm with the Rio Grande International Study Center. We are an environmental nonprofit. We're 22 years old. I want to introduce our board president, Juan Livas. We're the only environmental nonprofit in our area. Every month for more than 20 years, we've been doing water testing of the river in Webb and Zapata counties. We do a lot of outreach and educational programs, but we also are an advocacy group. We've tackled issues like the plastic bag campaign, wetlands that are endangered of being destroyed, and a lot of our mission is about several things. Number one, trying to find that balance between development and protecting our natural resources, because once they're gone, that's it. And Laredo has a very long track record of not caring about our natural resources. That's why we have almost no wetlands left and very few green spaces. It's not just the heat. We have a wonderful basin, Rio Grande Basin and Creek system, and we should have a lot more green spaces, but we no longer do. So that's one of the things. Juan's going to talk a little bit more about that, but what I wanted to say is more from a personal standpoint. I've been aware of the work that our Laredo has been doing, and I can't stress enough how important it is for individuals like us, like you, each of you, to stay involved and not just support, but they really need your physical labor. I haven't seen a group like this in a long time do the legwork of going through the city contracts and keeping spreadsheets and identifying things that just don't jive. And so they're not just up there to speak and say something. I mean, they really do their homework, and it's hard work. It's hard work going through a lot of these electronic files and city files and doing open records requests. And we need that. We always need to hold government accountable. You know, those were the great debates with Thomas Jefferson. You know, humans were not angels. You know, there's these great debates that he had with Alexander Hamilton, and it applies to today. And so we need groups like this, and we need people like you, especially right now with our city in such a political stalemate. Unfortunately, we can't progress, we can't move forward because you have this power struggle happening right now with two main groups. You know, I'm sure there's others, and the ones who suffer are us. You know, Laredo suffers, and that's really sad, and we deserve so much better. We deserve so much better. We're a city of 250,000 people, 250,000 people. You know, we should have so many more amenities, and we should have a forward moving vision that works and that is working and functioning rather than deadlocked right now the way that it is. And so I'm just speaking from a personal standpoint, and if any of you are savvy with getting onto the internet, doing research, spreadsheets, there's one or two specific folks in our Laredo that know how to do this, and they need your help in identifying a lot of the things and issues that need to be brought up. And some of this has come up in the news, whether it's the recycling contractor, they're working on many other things that are eye-popping. And so I just wanted to raise that and thank the mayor for being here and caring enough about a group of citizens that cares so much about our city and wants to do something and can get very frustrated with that political deadlock that we're in the midst of right now. So thank you anyway very much. I hope you join our organization. Our cause is an environmental one. The environment and public health always go hand in hand. If our environment is suffering, so does public health. So anyway, with that, I'm going to turn it over to Juan.
Thank you to our Executive Director, Trisha Cortez. I'll keep it short since they pretty much summed it up perfectly. We've been around for 22 years, guys. RGISC, in case you haven't heard, the Rio Grande Transfer Studies Center. I know most of you in this room have worked with us before. CY has worked with us. We have some volunteers, Seven, the teacher from Finley. She helped out at the Earth Day event we had at Lake Casablanca. We've had former board members, Armando over here. So we've been around for 22 years. And like our Executive Director mentioned, Trisha Cortez, we're always looking to get new relationships going, establish and maintain them. It's, as most of you who are running for office today, the gentleman over here and the lady from UISD board who just left, it's hard for us to step outside our comfort zones and reach across those lines. We've seen that at City Council, but it's something we have to do in our organization with our projects, our programs. Being an environmental organization, most of the time the response you get here in Laredo is when it comes to the environment, protecting the river, people are usually like, I don't have time for that. They focus on more issues, more pressing needs, without realizing the importance of our river, being one of the 10 most endangered rivers, not in the state, not in the country, but as our EDRs mentions, in the entire world. So with that being said, we have projects year-round. We ask you guys, especially those running for office, hope you guys get elected. If we do get elected, keep us in mind. We're always looking for either volunteers, either sponsors, either donors to keep us going, to sustain us. Just step outside, again, I can't stress enough, step outside your comfort zone. I know, I hope he doesn't mind, Mr. Benavides, he's been with us working on different projects. We don't always see face-to-face, but he's always there with us, just because we're gonna agree on 100% on whatever issue may be, that does not mean there's not a relationship established there that's maintained. And that's what I ask of each of you today, whether you're running for office or you're just a private citizen, reach out to us, look us up. We're on rgisc.org, and get involved with your community. Our Laredo, thank you guys. Thank you, Vish, Armando, everybody else here. You guys have done a great job of getting everybody together in this room. So I just want to say thank you for that. And then lastly, like I said, we ask, our ED and myself, the rest of the board asked that you get involved with us. We've been here for 22 years. We hope to keep growing. I know Mr. Ivy talked about earlier about second water source. I believe he's gone to speak to our board as well. So if you guys ever have anything you could offer as far as volunteer work, as far as sponsors, as far as wanting to meet with us, we're always available to meet with you guys. Okay, thank you. And once again, just give a round of applause to Vish and everybody else for putting this together. Thank you.
Okay, accident ready to happen. If we can have Rose now. She has a very, very nice, what is that? It's a, you want to bring it up or not? No, you're not going to bring it up, okay. So, well, take a look at it when you get a chance, if you get up again to maybe get some water or wherever. It's beautiful, I love it.
That's about a bully.
Did I miss somebody that didn't report to me and you wish to speak after Rose? Did I miss anybody?
There are more people.
Oh, okay. Okay, hold on. I'll get to you in a minute. All right, go ahead.
So good afternoon. I'm not a good public speaker, so I am a little bit nervous.
No, don't.
Okay.
But get closer because they can't hear you.
Okay. So I wanted to tell you all about an event that has been unforgettable to me, but please forgive me for my lacking of the details since I don't remember those quite as clearly. But when I was in middle school, I was taken to an assembly in the school's gym. Now, this was a time when the DARE campaign was really strong and you would hear about it everywhere. And we, on occasion, would have DARE days with guest speakers. However, I'm not sure if during this program we had the guest speaker that has impacted my life. The reason I say that it could have been the DARE program is because I don't ever remember having any bully prevention activities. I just can't remember the main reason for bringing in this guest speaker into our school. I, however, see it as an unforgettable and tragic bullying story. Now, what I do remember, and I remember clearly if I close my eyes, I can see a small, petite Caucasian girl. She looks so young, maybe about 14 or so, but she must have been a little older, maybe like 19 at the time. She must have been about 5 feet tall and under 100 pounds. And she had dark blonde hair and maybe light brown. And she wore a slick back and a ponytail. She was wearing slightly baggy clothes. They fit like medical scrubs. The pants were dark blue and the top was a khaki color tannish shirt. And she wore tennis shoes. She also wore some things on her wrist. They were silver, but she couldn't take them off on her own. It would have to be taken off by others because they wore handcuffs. This girl, who's our guest speaker, I will call Sad Girl, totally caught my attention when she started to speak. She started to tell us of an event in her life. She told us that there had been a beautiful blonde girl in her middle school, and that she was not only beautiful, but happy and kind and sweet and intelligent, and who seemed to have everything going for her. Sad Girl continues to tell us that she herself was running with a bad crowd, and that when she would get together with her friends, it was just a hate session. That they all would do the drinking, that all they would do is drink and do drugs if they could get some, and sit back and talk and make fun of others. In one of those gatherings, Sad Girl and her friends brought up this beautiful, sweet girl, and little by little, they started getting angrier and angrier at this girl, who was not in their presence, nor has she ever done anything to them. However, in the Sad Girl's mind and her friends' minds, the beautiful, sweet girl all of a sudden was arrogant and conceited and thought she was better than them. So when Sad Girl and her friends would see beautiful, sweet girl in school, little by little they started to pick on her. Sad Girl said that seeing the pain which she inflicted on her victim's beautiful and sweet face would give her such a rush. It became somewhat of an addiction. Like a lot of things that start off small but can snowball, so did the bullying of the beautiful, sweet girl. Teasing progressed to hitting, which then progressed to something more tragic. One day, Sad Girl and her friends decided to, get emotional. One day, Sad Girl and her friends decided to give the beautiful, sweet girl her ultimate punishment. The gang cornered the beautiful, sweet girl, started taunting her and pushing her and hitting her, until the sweet, beautiful girl started to cry and plead that they leave her alone. The gang enjoyed the scene. They laughed at the beautiful and sweet girl. Then they put the cherry on the top of their sundae. They doused the beautiful, sweet girl with lighter fluid, and they lit her on fire. At this point, I can no longer remember what Sad Girl continued to say. I think I stopped listening because my heart sank. And I was in tears, and all I could do was think about the suffering that the beautiful, sweet girl must be going through. Like I mentioned earlier, I don't know what the moral of her story was. Maybe it was drug related, I can't say. But to me, the moral of the story is to put an end to bullying no matter how small the situation may seem. And how if we don't put an end to it from the beginning, if we don't stop it from the very first little funny comment that's meant to hurt another child, it has the possibility to escalate to something horrific. As I mentioned before, I don't remember the details. And before I shared my anecdote, I tried to do some research to see if by chance I could find factual information on what really happened many years ago. I did not find anything on that particular incident, but sadly other similar cases did come up. And it breaks my heart to know that what happened many moons ago was not a unique incident. And most likely more lives will have to deal with a similar tragedy in the future. On the projector, I have put up a more recent case. I ask you now to remember my words, not for my sake, but for the sake of those children that are either bullies or their victims. Please remember that it takes a village to raise a child, and unfortunately, a parent cannot be with their child at all times. If you knew that your child would get hurt and another adult had the capability to stop them from getting hurt, you would expect them to step in and not turn a blind eye. Please don't be the person that walks away from that hurting child, bully, or victim. I would have liked it very much if someone would have stepped in to protect my little boy before he was assaulted in school and had his spirits crushed. You might be thinking that as long as they're not hurting you or yours, it's none of your business and it doesn't affect you. But as the theory of everything goes, everything is tied together. And what affects one tiny child today may have great consequences on the world's future. So please remember my words for the sake of the future. That's it.
Rosa's son was bullied, but she did not keep quiet. She started the better bully protocol. Can you talk about the better bully protocol a little bit, please?
So what happened was that I don't want to insult anybody. I'm not here to attack or say anything negative about any particular organization. But what happened was that my child did get bullied in school, and I tried to take it to the teachers, to the principals, and they dragged it along. They dragged me along. They were like, "Oh, we're going to look into it. We're going to take care of it. We just need to do an investigation, but don't worry." And so that took a couple of weeks. When I realized that they weren't going to do anything and that they were just trying to, like, I don't know, get me to give up and go away, I guess, I started to take it up the school, up to, to the administrator, up the chain of command at the school. So they ignored me. Not only did they ignore me, at first they ignored me, then they started to turn things around on my son, put blame on my son, make it seem like if my son was the instigator, and if he wasn't the instigator, they made it up. My son made it up, and a whole bunch of different excuses. They didn't know what to tell me. They also said that if anything, my son bullied them, and ridiculous. I don't even know, it's not even logical, the stuff that they would say. But from there, I took it to the school board, and taking it to the school board, I was abused, to say the least, abused. They kicked me out of the school board when I tried to bring my attention up to them in a public forum. They said it wasn't on the agenda, and I was pregnant at the time. They had me physically escorted out. So little by little, I'm not a political person at all, but I am trying to bring awareness, and hopefully we can get better school board members in place. Yeah. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rose. Our next speaker is Mr. Jose Abando. He's with the parents at United, correct? Adelante.
Thank you, ma'am. Good afternoon. My name is Jose Obando. I'm with Parents United. Our organization started basically because my kids go to
Sorry.
It's okay. They go to UISD, and we started having issues with the school principally because of the CBAs. For many of you who don't know what the CBAs are, these are tests that have been instituted by the federal government, basically. And all they do is they just teach our kids how to be better testers. They don't educate our kids. They just are specifically targeted just to make our kids better testers. And there's other things involved right there. When we initially started getting involved, it was just because of that. As we started growing as an organization and people started joining us, one of the persons that we met was Miss Rose. And I was there that day when she got escorted out. And it's unfortunate to tell you that if you go before the board, most likely, if they don't like what you're saying, you will be physically escorted out. She's not the only one that's happened to. That's happened to me, and it's happened to several other parents. If you ever have an issue with UISD, one of the first things you have to do is file grievance 1, then you have to file grievance 2, then you have to file grievance 3. And I have known of no one ever, excuse me, that has ever won any grievance. After you go through the 3rd grievance, then you have to hire a lawyer. And let me just ask you right here, how many of you have right now $20,000 to hire a lawyer? Because I know I don't. And anything happens to your child, you believe they're safe there? They're really not. And if you want to make a complaint, you're going to have to go through grievance 1, grievance 2, grievance 3. And if you dare complain before the board, the first thing that's going to happen is you're going to be escorted out. And I know I already said it. Ms. Rose got escorted out. I've gotten escorted out. Several other parents have been escorted out. And this ties in, we're not a political organization, but I know that many of you have mentioned about the corruption and the patron system and this and that. And it's so tied into UISD because there's a lot of people that contact us and they're employees either of the city or the school district, and they're afraid to speak up because they're afraid to lose their jobs. And many of these people who are afraid, they try to contact us via other means, by private message, or they meet with us in some places. And it's really unfortunate. I want you to tell Ms. Rose is not the only bullying case that we've seen. And we've seen some really horrible ones. And I don't want to mention them because my children are here, but I'm sure that some of you have seen part of them in the news. And that's only part of what you hear because they're so good at hiding everything underneath that you will never hear about the real cases that are going on. And it's just horrible to see that our kids are suffering under these things. That's basically all I want to say. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much. Our next speaker is, hey, there's cake, just in case. I went ahead and I broke the cake over the happy birthday, and then the Herefords brought another cake that says happy birthday. So there's plenty of cake. Somebody, if the guys over there stop eating, my helpers, maybe you'll have enough food. I don't know, but that's all I've seen. They haven't done all day, right? They haven't left. I gave them 2 chores. And they're there eating and eating. All right, let me see. Tony Briones, come up. Identify yourself. He's an artist.
He's going to draw.
Oh, good. No charge. Great. There's always a charge.
Is it okay if I can speak without this?
Go ahead.
I got 5 kids, so I was very humble. My name is Tony Briones. I'm a public artist. I'm a graduate from Martin High School in '85. I have been gone ever since, and I'm basically back. I'm an organization, difference, studio, public art. Since I've been back here the last 6 weeks, I've noticed that Laredo is a little bit, I'm not going to say backwards, but a little bit stalled on most public art issues. They don't have a public art, like an arts commission where they can fund some of the local artists here. There's a lot, ever since I've been coming back and forth to Laredo for the last year, and there is a lot of talent here. And I would greatly appreciate if you guys have a little bit more understanding for the public arts. Laredo doesn't really have much. I'm here basically for a while. One of my goals is to start an art community organization or an art community center where these artists can come and hang out, and basically also give the opportunity for artists to be able to teach classes. If everything goes as planned, I can probably get this thing off within the next 2 years. But do expect a lot of us out there painting murals. I'm painting one down the street here on Santa Maria in Constantinople. I was born and raised here in Los Amores, so I'm here to stay. Thank you. There is, the only thing that I would suggest is either have the artist go back and restore it, or just paint over it and have another artist, commission another artist. Public art is not forever. It'd be nice if a wall could last at least 5 years. It does need repairs, especially the sun out here. I don't paint during the day. I have to paint from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. because the first 3 days I was here, I thought I was 25 years old, but the sun told me I was 50. So, we'll be out, have a little bit of compassion for us. A lot of us, when they say starving artists, it's not a matter of that we're starving, or, it's really more that we're starving for that attention. So be kind to us. Thank you.
Tony, what happened to the project in Fox?
Bucks?
Yeah, you have fundraising last year.
Oh yeah, I did Laredo Soup gave me a $500, and we had raised through a plate sale. I think we raised $6,100. We're supposed to do this. We're supposed to raise $30,000, but of course, most people that I was asking for donations privately, they were looking at me as like some thief. But sometimes I joke and I say I'm a professional beggar. But anyways, we did, after the expenses, there was $4,400 left. We decided to do two murals. I did one small mural, which was an 8x8 at North Central Park. I did a couple of rayos at one of the walls. And the one I'm doing right now, I know it's overdue, but that's the one, the second one I'm doing right here on Santa Maria.
And you did our big, massive one at North Central Park, Tony?
Yes. So it's other 5 artists. But yeah, once I'm done with that, then I'm going to come and talk to yes, so they can see what those $500 did. Thank you.
And our next speaker is a member of our organization, Melly Herford.
Well, I would like to thank Vish for his courage, his persistence, and his tenacity, in bringing all of this information that he researches to inform the people. I listen to everyone, and it's like I've been a part of all of it. Like with the ecologists, my husband and I are in wildlife management, so we take care of the wildlife, and we rescue 2 hogs. With Tricia, we're members of the Rio Grande International Study Center, and we worked on the land farms that they wanted to put in San Ignacio. And this is why we're against the landfill, because we documented 16 spills in the city. And when we spoke to the fire chief, he told us that the cleanup on each of those spills began at $5,000. And those were 16. And these spills were coming from Carrizo or Eagle Pass down to Bustamante. And the proposed landfill is 800 miles. So anytime you transport from point of origination to point of destination, there's going to be a mess. And it's 800 miles. Why are we the environmental dumping ground? Is it because we're all Hispanic and poor, or what? Well, I know you see me in my patriotic scarf, and that's because, of course, you know, we watched both conventions recently, and we need to be a well-informed electorate in order to affect change. You know, we're not satisfied. Look at who the people have voted for. Outsiders. They are fed up with the corruption in Washington. But you know, if we can't do anything locally, how can we do anything statewide or nationwide? So I also wrote down some of the quotes of Thomas Jefferson, and I always compare Thomas Jefferson and John Adams because my husband is a descendant of the family of John Adams. And so I take patriotism and duty to God and duty to country very seriously. In fact, when Hobby Lobby was fighting their case, I was standing on Del Mar and McPherson with my sign, stand up for religious freedom. And so anything that comes up, I work with the Boy Scouts for 20 years as a volunteer, teaching them duty to God and duty to country. And so that's something that's very important. With regard to the quotes of Thomas Jefferson, he says, educate and inform the whole mass of the people. They are only sure reliance for the preservation of our liberty. It is incumbent on every generation to pay its own debts as it goes. A principle which, if acted on, would save half the wars of the world. When a man assumes a public trust, he should consider himself a public property. Whenever the people are well informed, they can be trusted with their own government. Enlighten the people generally, and tyranny and oppression of body and mind will vanish like evil. This is what Avish and his group are doing in trying to inform the people. Come on, you know, not everyone has to participate, but they need the support, and that way they become educated with what they're trying to accomplish. I would just like to close, you know, with one quote from John Adams, which is about our freedom. And he says, posterity, you will never know how much it cost the present generation to preserve your freedom. I hope you will make a good use of it. If you do not, I shall repent in heaven that I ever took half the pains to preserve it. You know, we take it for granted. It's like, oh, I'm too busy, let somebody else take care of it. But no, it's not good enough. Each and every one of us have a duty to our country. We're not asking you to lay your life down, you know, for the betterment of our country. We're just asking you to become an active participant. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mary. Thank you so much. The next one we have is Francisco Javier Estrada.
Hello everyone, I'm Francisco Javier Estrada, like Ms. Garcia said. I just have one sentence that I will speak, but before that I will give you a preamble of what I'm going to say. I am a adopted Laredoan. I was not born here, but I'm very proud to be a Laredoan, and I will tell you why. I graduated in Martin High School in 1975, long ago, back when the year was younger. Then I went to LCC, which I have very high regards to, the institution, the education institution that is LCC. I learned, like for instance, the philosopher Descartes, Plato, whatever. I learned also that the first derivative of x squared is 2x, and the second derivative is 2. But what I learned the most is that we cannot not communicate. We all need to speak. Just as we need water, as we need food, we need to speak. We need to communicate. And that's my message that I want to say. Also, I want to say that I'm very proud. I graduated from LCC, and Mr. Saenz, he shook my hand, and I was some of the few who say, congratulations, Francisco. I remember that very well. You may not remember that, but to me, it's a memory that stays in my mind forever. And I thank you very much. Well, that was my message. We all need to speak. So I encourage everyone to speak, to say what you mind. And from everyone's ideas, we sum it up and we get the best. Because just one person will not get it right. Just two persons might get it half right. But the summation of everyone's talking is what will get it right. Is my point of view. Thank you very much.
I have Roxanne Peña. Oh, I'm sorry. Somebody's blocking. You want to tell me what car it is? It's not mine, I'm sure.
It's an M200?
M200. Is that you, Jane? No, is that you?
I'm saying it loud so everyone can hear in case you think about
it. What color is it?
I think it's black.
There's another function next door also.
Yes, let me go and ask.
Okay. Roxanne, come on. Thank you, Roxanne.
Thank you, everybody, for coming to this event this evening. I just returned back to Laredo after being in Austin, Texas for 14 years, 4 years in Houston. And along with Tony Briones, I am part of a group of artists who are interested in revitalizing arts and culture in Laredo, Texas. I just opened up a business, Lot 31 Films. It's a video production and services company that focuses on creating video content for businesses in Laredo. Former educator, I particularly specialize in education and instructional video, but I am really looking forward to presenting a documentary that I have in progress that is regarding arts and culture in our community. I am a part of the Laredo Chamber of Commerce, and I see Cynthia Gonzalez here this evening. And I also joined the Bienvenidos Committee as part of a Laredo Chamber of Commerce member. I can't stress the importance of being a community and involved with our community. I know that I'm just returning, and there's so much that Laredo has to offer for not only our youth that are coming up, but people like myself and my age, and there's still a lot of things that we can do. So I'm looking forward to really presenting this documentary. It might be a documentary series, but it's in the works. I do have a meeting that's open to community members who are interested in participating in developing the concept in regards to this arts and culture. So I'm really excited about presenting this to all of the community. There will be film screenings, and it will take time to have this presented. But I am looking forward to discussing this with individual members of citizens of Laredo and the council members, along with the city mayor and anybody else who would be interested in supporting this growth of arts and culture in our community. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much. Eduardo Villa. Ay, pues ese es el comelón. Lo quitamos de la cocina.
Okay, thank you. This is my first time here. Public speaking, I'm not a very good public speaker, but let me just say real quick. 2 years ago, I was a Hillary supporter. I was a big, major Hillary supporter. To me, going to vote, carrying a little sticker around and saying, hey, I did my civic duty, that's it. So I would vote, and that's it, I did my thing. 2 years ago, helped out with about a year ago with the Jill Stein, we brought her in. And, but I said Jill Stein's too far out, we need somebody else closer. So I joined the Sandra movement. And finally, the Democratic Party, and I went to the convention and all this, and I saw all of this stuff, and I said, just a lot of stuff that really doesn't help anybody. So I decided to get more involved politically, and I live in District 4. Right now there's 2 other candidates running in District 4, and I'm thinking of running in also as a non-party, independent for District 4. Basically because it just seems to be the same people over and over and over again. And it's either Republican or Democrat. And so I'm sort of going nonpartisan, Green Party type. Since Sanders was robbed from the Democratic Party, I decided to go in with the Green Party. Said, well, that's it. I'm not voting for Hillary. I'm not voting for Trump. So we go for Jill. So I decided to be more involved. I've been to a couple of city council meetings where it seems that only some people are doing some work, and it seems other people are not doing anything. They're just sitting there. It doesn't seem to be moving forward. I know there is a lot of power struggle right now. And I think and I hope to bring in sort of I'm not for this, I'm not for that, I'm for the people, I'm for the city, so that it moves forward. We all say about the dump and the trash, but we're making a lot of trash. We need to put it somewhere. Exactly. Okay? I mean, we're not recycling enough. Right now we have cans, aluminum, plastic. We need, downtown is pretty much dying. Why we want to revitalize it. Then downtown is now fighting us because of the plastic ban, which has been in effect for a year. The old Mercy Hospital is sitting there. It's been sitting there for decades. We can do something with it. Whether it's private or not, it's still out there. It's an ugly, huge, ugly visual thing that we could do something with it. We have a lot of things going on right now, which we can move forward. And if we just get away from this party in this section and that section, and everybody says what is best for Laredo. So I'm announcing here my candidacy with District 4. I'll be writing myself in. And I want to like they said, why I'm doing it is so that we can bring in more attention, and it's just not the same people over and over. So somebody else just a little wrench in the system, a little monkey. Thank you very much. I have been with our Laredo, and I think everybody should support it because it questions everything, and we should question everything. Years ago, I would believe whatever the media would tell me. This last couple of months, when I've been looking at all this election campaigning going on, you start looking at, well, you know, where's the rest of the reporting, you know? When you start listening to Fox, going like, you know, Fox is making sense. It's like, hey, you know, where's the NBC, ABC, and CBS, you know? So, thank you very much. There's still a lot of food. Yo ya me llené. It's like just como el que está cocinando and tasting the food and all like that. Thank you very much.
Again, I would like to introduce Vish, our commandant, chairman of the board. What else? The highest paid employee. What else? Junior. You're going to do this, right? Okay. Are you ready? Okay. This is our intellect. Right here, Armando, he's going to help. Yes, he's right. But he's also bashful. He likes to work behind the camera.
First of all, I'm almost a public information officer. Everybody sees my face. Everybody thinks I am our Laredo. I cannot sleep, I cannot wake up, they think I'm our Laredo. That's not true. That's not true at all. Actually, there's one person who does know much more than me. That would be Armando Cisneros here. Okay? Come on over here. I need you. Then there's a whole bunch of people. There are two groups of people. People who just give us information and say, don't even mention my name. We have a lot of those. Okay, quite a bit. Here's the piece of information, but you didn't hear it from me. Mayor, I shouldn't say this. We have council members, we have mayors, we have employees, former mayors, current employees, former employees, but nobody wants to say, hey, I told you so. Okay? The next part of it is, we don't say everything we know to the public unless we know that it's correct and it's pulled from some other source. So we hear everybody like we are hearing today, and we do that. What I want to do right now is want to do a short present. There are some other people who wanted to talk, but they wanted to wait. So I'm going to use that time to present you our Laredo as to who we are. Okay? You didn't hear much of that. Also, the way I wanted to present is not what's going to happen, because I wanted actually a video presentation. Mayor, we don't have any money. We have to come to the city and ask for some money. There's no technical money here. We have no camera. We have nothing. We have 3 different old computers. It doesn't work. Okay, we have to come to the city council and ask for some money. I don't know who's going to support us, but I don't know who can even put in the agenda to start with. This doesn't work.
Yeah. Everybody gets the mail.
What?
Mommy, buttons.
There's a picture of you.
Okay. It's not really going to come out this way, but I'm going to talk and show the video. Armando, please add on anything you want to say. Okay. About a year ago, 3 of us, the 2 standing here, and Luis Cisneros, we met in the Starbucks. That's the one on Delmar and McPherson. We were talking for 2-3 hours. We said we'd have a 20-minute meeting, but we were there for a long time. We were talking about everything we thought was wrong. Yes. And then we started meeting. During last summer, we met and met. Feelings, sir. That's a my Laredo.
Okay, so Luis Cisneros, my brother's not here. I'm Armando Cisneros, and Bish has about 30 nicknames, but Bish is the main one, so that's a triumvirate.
So what we did was, we started a group called My Laredo on that day. Then on April 1st, we changed the name to Our Laredo because My Laredo sounded more narcissistic to start with. Plus it didn't really reflect, it's not mine, it's our. And actually the mayor has used the term your or our or something like that, nosotros or something, right? Nuestro Laredo. We changed the name to Our Laredo. The only way we are communicating to everybody is through Facebook, social media. As you can see, we have not collected even a single penny from anybody, no donations, but we have put in a lot of hours which money cannot buy. Really, money cannot buy that. And a lot of people who are, you don't see them standing here, they have spent a lot of time. I could not have said this better. Tricia did a good presentation of what was in some of our heads. She said what we were doing and what we should be doing. We have about 4,400 and something odd likes so far. And Our Laredo, we changed the name to Our Laredo. We did that on April 1st, and some people thought, we were fooling around, Can you go to the next one, please? Since then, we met. This is one thing that we wanted to say before I get into that slide. We met and discussed on so many different issues. And it's a tough situation. Can you imagine a group of 5, 10, 20 people getting together and agreeing on, hey, let's follow this or follow that? One thing we early on found out was, let's say something is going wrong, and there are 3 of us here. If something is going on, happens to be his friend, then he doesn't want to be involved with that issue. We face that a lot, believe it or not. We had people come to our group, talk for 4 or 5 meetings. When they thought that we are against their friend, they disappeared. We are not against anybody or for somebody. We are looking at issues. If it's an issue, it's an issue. That's the way we want to look at it. But believe me, that's not the way a lot of people is. Hey, don't keep going fast, sir. Go back one step. No, not yet, not yet. So we looked into a lot of issues. One of the issues was quid pro quo. Why don't you talk about that?
Okay, I'll try. On this one, the city solicited donations from a lot of businesses, and then a lot of those businesses donated, and they ended up getting some contracts. So we thought it was a quid pro quo, but we haven't actually proceeded beyond that. We're still looking at a lot of the what came first. So we're still working on that one.
Next slide. This is a major thing. If you see we have an artist in the house. I don't know about Don Brianna's here. This is special. This is a courtroom artist. He can do a lot of things. One other thing he does is draw. This is Armando Cisneros. If you look on the left, it's Tomas Rodriguez. If you look on the right, it's Tomas Rodriguez. Okay? It's like, here you go and thank you. Where does all that come from? That comes from when the artist, I don't know how many of you are familiar with, this was a major issue during the last year. Tomas Rodriguez was the utilities director. Then he puts out a bid saying we need to do a business in some street, Galveston Street. 6 months later, he resigned. 6 months later, he gets the contract, and he's the chief investigator there. So that's why we have, here you go there. That's not right. That's ethically wrong. We did file an ethical complaint on this specific issue. By the by, Mayor is sitting in front of me right now. Mayor was in Washington, D.C. with the other trip, and he came back and he vetoed this particular city council meeting. And it was overturned and blah, blah, blah. I don't want to go into all that details, but that's one issue we filed an ethical complaint, and that complaint was thrown out. Bottom line is, Thomas saying, it's totally unethical. He's saying that a project needs to be done, and he ends up getting it. The city charter has very specific rules on that. Thank you very much. Next one. That was the one, but we wanted to show you, no, don't move back. Hold on, go back to that one. Give me a second.
My video is not working very well, so I want to show you a short video. Give me 1 second, please.
Okay. This is a short video we are going to present. Luis Cisneros, by the way. If you see on the leftmost corner, you saw the police chief trying to, the police, he was calling his LPD guy to come out and take him out. And I know you didn't see that, we were sitting there and standing. We were at that stage. Somebody, Mr. Ovando and Rose was talking about people being thrown out of the UASD school board. Mr. Cisneros got very close to that, right there.
Okay. I got a bad back, so I had to sit down. First Recycling was one of our major projects. Briefly, what it turns out is that we found out the city does everything. The city spent millions of dollars on buying the blue bins, $2.9 million. The city spent $3.8 million on upgrading the facilities up there in Pre 59. And then the city trucks and the city workers pick up everything and deliver it. And then the company, so do I stop? Okay, so, yeah, I have shirts like these. Okay, so what I was saying is that, anyway, the bottom line is that the city does everything, and they only have to sell the recycling materials, and they keep 100% of the profits. So there's no sharing. Now, I think it's supposed to finally change this year, after 3 years of the city getting zero and investing millions. So we're going to keep an eye on it, and right now, as a matter of fact, they're supposed to be revisiting the contract, so we're hoping they're doing that.
Thank you very much, Mayor and City Manager, for getting this audit done. As you saw, there were a lot of questions, irregularities, perhaps some of the things I noticed and stand out. There was no formal process at the beginning. There was negative report, multiple accounts. The trail was lost at some points. No longer reports as the contract stipulated. Then Mr. Gagnon will.
Okay, Mayor, so we had a public access facilities that could train us, and we could be probably doing a lot better, but they said they were suspended that program where they would train people to use the facilities and all that, because that's actually what it's supposed to be for the public. So anyway, just have to work that out.
You can see that Armando is very, very mild. Let's go to the next slide, please. Then he also draw the next slide. No, those, the one below that. Go to the one below that. Then we'll come back. That's me. It says, Bish rises up to the occasion at the City Hall. And in City of Laredo, I'm standing on a stool, as you can see, and I said this is criminal. This comes from the fact that the first recycling contract was after the Mejia's presentation, and we had to go back to the video before this and show you something. This is something that you really have to listen to. Everybody knew about it. That's what Saul Villarreal said after the audit was done. And discrepancies were found, and he says everybody knew about it. The city staff was sitting 20 feet away, so what's the big deal? That's the way he was talking. So I was furious, I was upset, I was there. So I'm going to give you a clip from that, but what I said at that time.
Okay, in the meantime, we recognize that this is getting really into the weeds, and a lot of people don't really know what's going on, so we apologize for maybe not setting it up a little bit more clearer and concise, but that...
After taking all the audit, the expenses went down. It means the cost of margins are higher after their audit. It's exactly the amount that should have been shared with the city. It never happened. In the beginning, again, they are coming and saying, oh, whatever we were doing, we didn't do the report, they were sitting 20 feet away. If the staff was sitting 20 feet away, and they knew what was going on, and they didn't want the report, the staff also doing something wrong. They're supposed to give a report. They're not giving a report. But Mr. Saul Villarreal said, the staff knew what was going on, they're sitting 20 feet away. Are the staff in cahoots with the company? You don't want that, sir. want from you guys today, this is a list, it's a 6,500 travel expenses. That's the same travel expenses that I call a long term back. Which I am pushing $12,000 in travel expenses. That's the same expenses that I call something like this. Hey, these are not transactions. Now they are telling you, oh my God, you don't want those things. You sit down this and say that. What the house would have done is the idea of verified and gone beyond the indication and said the expenses were inflated. But is that deliberately or not, I do not know that. If there is deliberately, that's clear.
Okay, once again, it's isolated, so it's kind of hard to figure out exactly what's going on, but on our Facebook, we introduce the subject and we try to explain it to where a layman can understand. Now, these are some of the things we're still working on. Okay, so Pescadito landfill, just to mention a few of them. The water park initiative went nowhere so far, so we're looking for the Civic Center monies. The Civic Center was sold, $60 million proceeds, and we don't know what happened to the money. So we've been working on that, and the outlet mall, 100% sales tax. They're going to keep 100% of the sales tax, and I cannot see the rest of the list, but
ethics violation complaint that was filed, charter presentations. We're also, the land purchase, it was in Stark County for the water rights. Also with Roque Vela and the Pandora's box comment that he had said at City Council, it's on the internet floating around. Consejo House purchase. Everything else that's there, it's everything. We don't look at things and say we want to attack a certain group or a certain issue. We look at everything and we judge it right or wrong. Is it right for them to throw away money, our taxpayer money? When we get together as a concise group and say, no, aquí no más no, no va a pasar, no lo podemos dejar pasar, entonces ya le avanzamos más nosotros como un grupo. Pero esa es la cosa, como dije temprano, we're not political. I'm very political, I'm a conservative, but that has nothing to do with what's right or wrong, period. Whether you like me or not, I don't care. I'm still going to fight for you and you and you and you. Whether you like me or not, I'm still going to try and fight the same thing. That's what you're going to encounter with our Laredo. I don't agree with half of the people in the group politically. That's their choice, and I'm glad that I'm in a country that gives us that right. But once again, the ethics committee, how ethical was it? The award contract, when the mayor was out, unofficial business, the Pandora's box comment, the way that certain council members treat our mayor and other members of the city council, these are things that we have to address now. We, citizens of Laredo, have to address this now. We can't let it go by. We have to rally people. We need to get them to go vote. We need to have a change. The patron system, el partido viejo, está vivo. La misma familia siguen ahí. ¿Cuándo va a ser el cambio si ponemos la misma gente ahí? We need experience. Really? This country was founded by people that had no experience. It was all an experiment. Democracy did not exist anywhere, except on pirate ships, to be actually totally honest with you. That's the only place where democracy existed before that. And has it worked? We're all here. We're all doing our part. We're all trying to make a difference. Go Viva. We need change. We win. First they ignore you, then they laugh at you, then they fight you, and then you win.
What stage are we in right now? You know what stage we are in?
What stage are we in, do you think? They are fighting us, fighting us, fighting us. We haven't won anything yet.
But they still laugh at you, though.
They laugh at you when they're drinking beer. That's when they are fighting you. No, there's a few more things. We'll go very fast on this. We have not given a chance for the mayor to talk. He comes last. We keep him for the best for the last. And there are a couple of others too. Hold on. We did some other things. We actually gave 14 different charter recommendations to the charter committee. All the committees are failed, including ethics committee, charter committee, and whatnot. I'm sorry, Mayor. Okay? Now, they did not even, we made a presentation, they ignored us the best they could. They did that, everything. There was another group also which made some presentations. In any way, we gave 14 items. 2 of those items are listed there. The mayor has the right to initiate motions at city council meetings. The mayor to add items to the city council agenda. We believe that none of that gives a patron type clout to the mayor. Mayor cannot put an item on the agenda, something is wrong. It's the mayor, he should be able to put an item. Then everybody votes on it. The city, also the right to initiate motions. Mayor cannot initiate a motion. Yesterday, hey, can you please help me to initiate this motion, and somebody else has to initiate. Those 2 things are coming in the charter. Those of the 14 things that we proposed, those 2 things did not come from, it came from us, however, it also came from MLF. So because they got the petition done, it is going to be in the November election. That's one thing we did, and the other 12 items is completely ignored. Now, let me tell you something here. This is why it's important. Typical modus operandi. Also, another thing that I wanted to say was this very good for UISD too. There was a motion made by all girls long time back that people like me, can go and talk in front of the city council for 3 minutes. Okay? Thank you, Mayor, for passing that. But we thought that is not going to work because the minute that membership changes, they can take it back away and say, we don't want you to hear from you. So we put in a motion saying, every meeting, whether it's general or special, shall provide for citizens' comments on any issue with reasonable limitations on time and manner. This motion was approved by the charter committee. It came to the city council on the specially called workshop meeting, and there George Algett proposed that. Nobody seconded that. So it's not going to be there. Can you believe that? They don't even want us to, they don't want to even give us 3 minutes to talk, and they don't even want to second him so that they can at least have a discussion on the issue. So that thing died. That issue will not be in the November ballot as a proposition. That's how it works. Even if somebody proposes something, it doesn't even come to the floor. Only if it comes to the floor, then you have to even vote on it. You may not agree and you may disagree, but even to second it, what does the second mean? People who know Robert's rules, everybody's going to discuss about it. Even that, it doesn't happen. This happens all the time in the city council. This is not the only example. Okay, I'm almost done. We have, I know the 3 minutes are over. We have a music for you.
You get the gist of it.
Yeah.
Are you gonna sing? Are you gonna perform?
Carry the song.
All right.
That's it.
Did I miss anybody before? Yeah, he waits for the last. Of course he does. Good friend, good friend. May I remind you, I know there's very few of us, right? There were a lot of them at first. But if anybody, can spread the room, the thing about joining our group, it's important that we have a couple more people, especially going to city council. That's important, being there. Thank you.
Sorry.
Right there. Mr. Bish, and members of the Laredo, I congratulate you for what you're doing. You are doing what an investigative reporter from KGNS or the Laredo Times should be doing, or perhaps our district attorney should be doing. You are investigating things that are happening in our city that are not right. And I really congratulate you for having the guts to do that. I am from the moving Laredo forward. We are a group that started a few years ago, and we were meeting with groups that were retired people, doctors, lawyers, businessmen, teachers, that were interested in doing something for Laredo. Our intentions at the beginning were, and we wanted to meet with the mayor and ask him, what can we do to help you? That was our intention. What can we do to help you? Do your job. Everybody in our group was very proud. We were elected. In so doing, we started talking about what does Laredo need? What has not happened in Laredo since we got rid of the patron? By the way, I can say my name. My name is Cesar Cantu. I was born here in Laredo, graduated from Martin High School. I got my master's from A&I King School in mathematics. I was a company commander in the military during the Vietnam War. I was lucky that I was sent to Germany, not to Vietnam. And the reason I came back to Laredo, because Laredo was going to be a model city. Do you all remember that? Was it anybody here old enough to remember that Laredo was the model city? And not only that, I brought my company commander with me. My battalion commander came with me because I told him, hey, Laredo's going to be a model city in the USA. When I came back to Laredo, I was so depressed, so disappointed, because what I saw was what I left. The same garbage, because Laredo was filthy. And I asked myself, what should I do? Should I go back to Germany? Germany is beautiful. Or should I stay in Laredo and try to do something about making Laredo better? I decided to stay, and I went to apply for a job with a model city program. They told me that if I wanted a job with the model city program, I had to go kiss the hand of the patron. It wasn't the hand that I had to kiss, by the way, but that's what they told me. Obviously, here in Laredo, there was no job for a mathematician, so I didn't get the job, by the way. So they needed teachers, so I started teaching at Nixon High School, algebra and geometry. There was a group of teachers that were very disgusted with what was happening in Laredo with the old political party we had and the patron system. I was part of the grand jury, one of the grand juries that brought down the patron system. I know what was going on. It was organized crime. The mafia from Chicago would have learned tricks from our people. There were several businessmen involved in the organized criminal activity that was taking place in that area. They were never prosecuted because the patron decided to take the blame if we let everybody else go. But there were a lot of courageous people involved in this movement. My compadre, who was supposed to be here today and had some other problem, he was part of the original Grand Charter Revision Committee. He and other very courageous people wrote the charter you have right now. There were people that were very angry because of what happened with the patron system. They didn't want that to happen again. So they were a little bit hasty in some of the things that they did. They took the powers, all the powers away from the mayor, all the responsibilities. Yeah. And they formed single-member districts. All those people that were in that committee were very, very courageous. At that time, we had a difficult time trying to find people to run for political office. Nobody wanted to run. Everybody was afraid, And this was for not only the city council, for the county commissioners court, and for the school board in Laredo. But there were several very courageous people that ran. The Montalvo family, for instance, they had the courage to run. There were others that had the courage to run. So, going back to the Charter Revision Committee at that time, we, and the members that we have in our group, moving Laredo forward, feel that what they did at that time was what was needed to do at that time. But I think they were a little bit hasty in taking all the responsibilities away from the mayor. The mayor is our ambassador. He's the guy that represents us in Austin, in Washington, and everywhere, in Mexico. He's our ambassador. He has to have more responsibilities. We don't call it powers. We call it responsibilities. Can the patron system come back again? Well, I don't think so. Why? Because during Pepe Martin's time, and by the way, he's a convicted felon now, there were no term limits. He could run forever. And, I'm sorry, he could run over and over again. There were no term limits at that time. So now we do have term limits. And not only that, we have a way to recall somebody. And we've done that already with some of the council members here. So we decided that what we wanted to do is give the mayor more responsibility, being that he is our ambassador. And we started our petition. We wanted to work with the Charter Revision Committee. They were not very receptive to us. They kind of ran us off. And we tried to work with the council. They didn't like our idea. So we decided to go to the people. Let the people decide. And I'm proud, very proud of the people of Laredo that signed our petition. 10,000 people signed it. We hope that everybody will turn out this election coming up and vote for those changes that we want to make to the charter. I really wasn't here to make this presentation. David Cocker was going to be doing this today, and he had another commitment. But if you have any questions about what we're doing, like I said, I'm here to answer any questions you might have about what the Moving Laredo Forward group is doing. Any questions from anybody in the audience? Yes, ma'am. How do you make contact with our group? We've been going to all the Rotary clubs. We met with the Custom Locals Association. We're meeting with a lot of groups in the city, making our presentation. We're going to be doing a lot more than that. Our campaign in the middle of next month, and we're going to be all over the city, trying to push the changes that we want in the charter.
Do you have meetings that somebody's going to attend?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, we do. And anybody that wants to join us, I'll be here and I'll take your name and number, and we'll call you to attend our meetings. We want input from everybody. Yes, sir.
What is your single answer, single best answer to the notion that you're trying to bring back the patron system? What are your plans to fight that notion that's out there?
Well, a lot of people that talk about that we're going back to the patron system, they don't know what the patron system was. They have no idea. A lot of them weren't even born yet when that happened.
Yeah, but some people might be misled by that fact. So what will Laredo Forward do to dispel that rumor?
Emphasizing for one thing that we have permanent. If you don't like the mayor, we can recall the mayor. So now what we're doing with the charter is it's not going to be something that's going to be permanent. You can change it again if you want to. It was designed to be changed, modified, whatever. So why don't we try this and see how it works? Single member districts. Why do we want to change that?
Nothing gets done.
I could one live here in the 13, here in District 8, born and raised, right en de la Riviera del 4. Yo soy del barrio. Proud resident. And we have no parks, we have no plaza, we have nothing. When I was in Little League as a child, we practiced in the middle of the train tracks on Caliche for main boys club. Or we could have gone and practiced on Carillo, over in La Riviera. That's what we had. And in these last 40 years, there's still nothing there. I've had council members, Cindy Liendo, go to my house, knock on the door, the family I know, say, I'm going to help get sidewalks and parks. Nothing happened. Power went to her head. Corruption got to her. White envelopes got to her.
that was the end of that. What will you do, and how will at-large districts help change that?
Well, for instance, you went to see the Endo, she didn't help you, right?
Yeah.
With 4 members at large, you have 4 other people that you can go to. So listen to you. I've had the same problem you had. In my business area, there's no street lights, you know. And so I went to my council, and he didn't help me. I waited for the next administration, I went to my councilman, he didn't help me either. I still don't have lights, you know. So with 4 other members of the city council being at large, I would have 4 more people to go to.
No.
So that's why I think, let's try it, let's see if it works. Another thing we saw is that we have council people getting elected in certain districts with such few votes. But you can recall a guy with 100 votes.
Yeah, there you go.
190 votes.
So, Laredo is not big enough to have 8 single-member districts. I think 1 district in San Antonio is equivalent to all the districts in Laredo. You know, in places like San Antonio, you need to have single-member districts, you know. But Laredo is very small. So, we feel that we should have 4 districts and 4 at large. And that will give you all more people to talk to if you have any problems, any concerns about your district.
Have you seen any results in other cities that have done this size of ours?
Well, Corpus Christi, for instance, has something that is working very well. And by the way, they have women in their council, but we don't have here at all. You know, they have maybe 4 or 5 women in their council. Not yet, right? So and why do we have to do what somebody else is doing? Hey, we are a unique city, and we can be the leaders, not the followers. Yes, sir.
The only question, or not really thought, is how can you actually verify that that councilman actually lives in that neighborhood?
That's a very quick question. There are questions about that going on around right now. That there's some council people that don't live in their district.
And I think that makes a big difference on what's good for that neighborhood or what's good for that district.
Exactly.
Because at 5 o'clock they go home.
Exactly.
And it's not in the lottery. So.
What we started to see in Laredo is that our council people were interested only in doing for their district. But they forgot about the city. What does the city need? We have about 5,000 to 6,000 kids that graduate from our schools every year. What are the jobs that we have for them? Walmart, H-E-B, McDonald's. Every year we have about 5,000 to 6,000 kids graduating from our schools. And by the way, our teachers are doing a great job. They're doing a tremendous job. They have obstacles that other districts in other parts of the state and other parts of the country don't have. They are doing a tremendous job, and we're producing some students that are really brilliant. It's amazing what they're doing with what they have to work with. And where are those kids? Well, they don't stay in Laredo. They leave Laredo because there's nothing for them here. And then what happens to the parents? Where they go follow the kids because they want to be with their kids. So we have what's called a brain drain here in Laredo. So what our intentions were is to try to have people in the council that want to bring industry to Laredo, that will pay a livable wage, you know, not like pump Walmart. So I am very disgusted with Walmart, meaning that their estate of the Boltons is worth about $150 billion, and they pay their workers miserable wages. Anyway.
Mr. Cantú, sorry, just another quick question like Armando said. How do y'all answer, because a lot of the debate is also framed that, you know, the wealthy are going to take over Laredo, and by doing it this system, the chances of getting somebody from the south is going to be less. And if you look way back, before Laredo did this, everybody came from the heights, so you didn't have greater representation from other neighborhoods or lower income areas. But so how do you respond to that or counter to the way that's...
Well, the patron system, it wasn't that everybody came from the heights. They were handpicked by the mayor, by the patron. people we have in city council. Well, we're hoping that the people that run for city offices for council are people that will inspire you, that will have things to offer, that have a vision. What do we need in Laredo for our people? We need better paying jobs, that's for sure.
I think a lot of people, Trish, don't look at the candidate. You have to go after the candidate, like the mayor, for example, that has the interests of many people, not just of his area. That's the problem we have with this community, that we're tied to just doing the right thing just for one special interest, and not putting the qualified person in there that cares about Laredo as a whole.
And if I might add to that, Trish, when you said how would we get someone from the South Side, what has the South Side given us in the last 4 terms as far as council members that have helped us? Do we really want to continue what's actually there and what's going on, or do we want to try something different that we can always change back?
Do you want to look at the glass half empty or half full? Look at me, for instance. I was at a disadvantage, and I'm qualified, and I thought I was, I could do the job. I had a vision. What about
terrible. You had 2 quality persons
we had
over the guy that got elected.
everybody was qualified except for that guy. And people like us and like Jaime and like Perez, we were at a disadvantage in the South. So in the South, people like us that actually want to make a difference are at a disadvantage. And I wasn't born in the South. I've lived there for 10 years. I came from the North to the South and I fell in love with the South. And I have my business there, and that's where I want to improve quality of life. And yet, here we are stuck because everybody here was not able to vote for somebody in that district. So single district members to me is a concern because, hey, you all can vote. I bet you that if everybody here from different districts were able to vote, that guy would not have won.
Here.
So that's why it's important to vote in November for the 4 at-large districts. And if people are going to ask you that, you tell them, are you going to look at it half empty or half full? What about the people in the South that are actually trying to make a difference and they're not getting voted in because they keep voting their same cousins and father? I don't know what they're thinking. Or that they share the same values. I don't know what's going on. Or that they're being promised jobs.
Well, remember that it can be changed again, okay? Just remember that. Thank you very much.
Did we miss anybody? Anybody else want to comment? Before the mayor. Anybody? Going 1, going 2, and 3. Okay. Mayor.
Thank you all. Thank you very much for the invitation. Our Laredo, Western Laredo. Can you all hear me okay now?
Yes.
Again, thank you so much. This gives me a very good pulse as to what the interests and the concerns and the desires of our city are. I can see myself in so many of you all. I had no intention of running for office. My concern was LCC. I was a trustee there and I became board chair there. But other than that, I figured that's it. That's it for me. But some way, somehow, and this is why I call it calling. It's something very, it hits you. You do want to make a difference. It's cliche-ish in a way, but the people that are hit with that desire, express it. So I ran for change, as you know. But the message I want to leave you all is that thank you, all these watchdog groups, our Laredo, Vida, whoever's out there. You're part of the system. You're part of that fabric that we need. Politicians, frankly, they criticize you all. Hopefully the old type politicians. I welcome criticism, good and bad. And most of the time it's bad criticism, frankly. But that's the life of a politician, of a public figure. We're servants. And if you don't have that mentality, if you don't have that in you, that you're a servant, then it's not going to work for you. We don't need those type of candidates. You have to take criticism. There's things there. I'm certainly not perfect, and I'm sure there's going to be plenty more by the time I'm out of office. but I welcome that. We need that criticism. I remember the days of Hector Parillas when he used to go to all of these public forums, these public entities, LCC. Man, the board members were terrified. Hector Parillas is going to come here and they're going to destroy us. But that's part of the system. We need to hear from you all. So, even if I had it my way there at City Council, frankly, and I think I visited with Vish here the other day, I would have one day where all these third-party watchdogs would come to the city, to the city staff, and assign maybe a city staff member, and say, okay, what is your concern? Before you all go public, and I know you all go public because you're frustrated. No one listens to you. They shut you out now, and it's very evident in council. Granted, we have rules. We have to adhere to the open public meeting requirements by the state of Texas. If it's not on the agenda, we can take public comments. We can set the time frame and basically kind of control that space there. But other than that, we can't. There can't be dialogue. We can ask maybe indirectly some questions to city management. But other than that, but then again, sometimes there's no representation there to put agenda items on. As a courtesy, I can't put agenda items. But if you want that more permanent, this is why we're asking for the charter change. So anyway, going back to you, the ideal thing is to have staff, management, but management has to be receptive to it too. And of course, management is somewhat controlled in a way by that 5 votes, 5 out of the 8. So there's a dynamic there that is at work. We got to work with each other and say, well, there's a stalemate, there's tension. That's politics. Granted, it's philosophy. I ran on a certain philosophy, and certain things are just, I'm not going to agree to, frankly, because it just doesn't fit the vision that I ran on. Granted, maybe there's room for compromise, and if people know me, I'm very willing to compromise. But some of the things that are proposed, are beyond what I'm even willing to compromise, because they're just so far out from my way of thinking, my vision. But anyway, I'm very encouraged. I thought maybe I was going to drum up some spirit here, whatever. I see plenty of spirit. And this gives me a lot of hope. Hope that our city is well. The fact that we can speak this freely and speak on any issue, that's the vitality, that's life for a city. So from my standpoint, never be afraid to say, Pete, you're doing the wrong thing, and then because of this or that. Mayors should take that, and I'm willing to take that. Granted, it doesn't feel good, but that's what mayors should do. Good and bad, we take it in. And believe me, I try to never take it personal, because I know you're a frustrated person that sees things differently. But some way, somehow, in the mix, things kind of work out, and we're in the middle of that mix. I guess it's always been a mix here in Laredo, but I see a lot of hope. I see candidates now that are thinking basically what I'm kind of thinking. And I'm not saying that you ought to be identical like a Pete Saenz, because we don't need that. We need independent thinkers, and we want people to react to your desires as well. That passion, and that's what it takes. It takes passion. But anyway, I'm delighted, and I have no problem listening to all sorts of criticism. And I think every politician wanting to run for office should be as open and transparent. And I try, believe me, but there's just forces there that we're still trying to get there, frankly, and I think we're getting close. So if you all feel the same way, truly vet your candidate. And it's not that we're perfect, whatever, but look at their track record, look at their history. Granted, I know as young people, we did crazy things, I understand that, but their adult life, what type of person are they? What are their values? What makes you tick, frankly, and just pay close attention to that. And by and large, you'll end up with somewhat a good candidate, and that's the vetting process that we need. And the more experience they have, to me, personally, it's retired people. To be honest with you, this way they have no somewhat personal interest or trying to harm you somewhere in your jobs or your positions or whatever. It's an ideal position for retired people. This way you don't have to necessarily be depending on monies or this or that or influences, and you're there and you can do a wonderful job. But of course, we welcome everyone. Obviously, if that's your passion, your desire as a young person, by all means. So anyway, I can go on, and maybe at some point, I would like to address all these, in the public forum, because I know you have all these issues, and it's hard to, if you want, I can address them. But you mentioned the hospital, this and that, whatever. There are plans for the hospital. As a matter of fact, we've been, and I know you all complain that we're meeting behind closed doors. That's executive session. That is permitted by the Open Meetings Act. When there's issues, concerns that involve negotiations that may put the city in a bad position as far as negotiating a contract or some sale or purchase. We do have to meet behind closed doors. But this is where the trust and confidence comes in of you all. Elect the candidate that hopefully you'll trust and will make the good decisions for you. Then, but always verify. Like Reagan used to say, trust but verify. You've got to keep them accountable. I want to be held accountable too. So go before city council, and I know time after time, but with time, we'll see. Just don't give up. And I know that some people may smirk at you or this or that or whatever, but you're in the right track. I encourage the citizenry to really stay active, and you'll see a better Laredo. Thank you so much. Truly appreciate it.
I just want to make one comment, please. I want to thank the mayor, but before I do that, 1 second. You're not done yet. Give me 1 second. I personally contacted all the 8 city council members. I called and talked to each one of them. But only the mayor took the time to come here. It's not like we didn't contact the other folks. I contacted each and every one of them. For the record, I want all of you to know that. That's all. So thank you, Mayor, again. But we're not done. Next time.
First, I want to thank all of you for staying. I mean, we stayed. What time do we start? 5:30. Do we start at 5?
Hello, my name is Diana Torres. I don't consider myself to be one of the public speakers. I'm more in the background. But I would like to thank everybody for being here. And I just want to give you a little bit of background. As Mr. Villa mentioned, I was one of those that would just, go and vote and before a year ago, I had no idea how city council worked or what they did, the way the city was working. So when I met and got involved with the group, I went ahead and started getting involved, and the reason is because I love Laredo. I was born here, I lived in Houston, I grew up in Houston, but I came back. And I know that this is my community. No matter, even if I were to leave someday, it's always going to be my hometown. So my kids are here, my grandchildren are here, this is where they're going to grow up. So I wanted to do something for the community, to better the community, and that's what this is all about. You don't have to know the workings. You can always learn, but if you have the willingness to do something positive for the community, that's all it takes. So I welcome anybody to join us. And again, once again, thank you everybody for coming.
Thank you everybody on behalf of our Laredo group. Doña Eva, la invitamos a nuestro Laredo. Nos gustaría hacerla un miembro de nuestro Laredo. There you go. Thank you, everybody.